Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting on this Monday, December the 1st, 2025 at 7:02 p.m. Ms. Berry, would you call the roll for us, please?
Sure. A.C. Brown?
Here.
Ralph Pinker?
Here.
Tim Terry?
Here.
Roger Rainwater?
Here.
Steve Tedford? Here. Gerald Powell?
Here.
And there's a quorum.
Thank you very much. If everyone would please stand, we'll begin our meeting tonight, led by Brother Ronnie Dill, 2025 Nike Contributor of the Year, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance by Chief Brad Hobbs.
Let's pray together. God, I want to thank you for tonight. Thank you for the opportunity to gather together, to discuss and to do business in this community. Lord, I thank you for this community. Thank you for just the blessing of living in a town that has great leadership, great servants. Lord, I thank you for that blessing in this time of year that we're reminded of how grateful and blessed we are. Lord, I pray for tonight's meeting. I pray that, Lord, you give wisdom and direction and guidance where it's needed. Again, we're just grateful for a community, for the freedom that we have in this country, for those that have provided it. And Lord, again, we just say tonight, thank you. Ask your blessings on this meeting, and we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Got a lot of politicians in the room. I don't know what to say about that, other than welcome. I do want to say a couple of things real quick before we get too far into it. I was notified by Mr. Wade Dunn just moments ago that former Mayor Judy Selkirk is she in hospice, Wade, or just gone to the hospital, not doing well?
She was released from hospital, they going through rehab.
Okay.
But she's not.
Okay. So need to remember her and that family in your prayers. Also, Lisa Moore, who is the director of the senior citizen here in town. Her husband passed away a few days ago. And he's also the father of David Moore, who is street department employee. So keep those families in your prayers if you would, please. At this time, I would ask the council to consider approving the minutes for the November 3rd, 2025 regular city council meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Thank you. Motion is second.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Meeker?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Rainwater?
Yes.
Mr. Tedford?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Yes.
Recognitions and acknowledgments. I don't want to jinx the Bulldogs. I haven't yet, and I've announced it every time. So they just finished their regular season, well, not regular, playoff season here in Greenwood with 77 home wins, right? And, sir?
Yeah, 77 in a row.
77 in a row, thank you. So they're headed to Little Rock this Saturday, I believe at 6 p.m. 6:30 to play, I know who it is, Shiloh Christian. So that'll be a good game. So anybody, all that can attend, and if you don't, you can listen to this guy here and feel like you're right there. This is so big deal for me. I've got voices of Bulldogs in the room with me. I've got this guy up here and then that one back there on the PA system. So we're blessed tonight for that. So where am I?
Hey,
I got sidetracked. Yes, sir.
I also want to recognize the high school dance team.
Yes, I got it on my head. Go ahead. Yep, go ahead.
1A through 5A game day state champion.
Awesome. Yep.
Raising money to go to national.
Oh, okay. Donate to them directly?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. That's quite an accomplishment. Cheer team, I think, was second at state. Does that sound right?
They're competing this week.
Oh, well, I'm aware.
Yeah, they win already, and they won second place.
Second place.
Cheer did.
So says Danielle.
Competing in Hot Springs.
Let me look.
We'll get you an update here in a second. think that's all I have as far as, anything else that you know of, Tim?
I don't know what you're doing.
Okay.
So the parade coming up.
Parade's coming up, Monday, the 8th, Chamber of Commerce,
That's fine. Yeah, we'll do
Christmas
that.
parade. Any information we need to know?
Just that, we did not make a hard rule, no horses, some of the parades have, but we talked to the horse people, and they have all said they're not gonna be participating.
Really?
Because of the disease issue that they've had in
Oh.
Texas, so they're all being real cautious. So probably won't be any horses, but other than that, parade's underway, it's called the
Okay.
Toyland Parade.
What about mules? Can we bring a mule? We haven't-
Yeah, well, I guess you can bring a mule, there's a couple stubborn ass. Bean feeds at 5 on the square.
I wasn't going there, okay. Bean feed is at 5 on Square, okay, and regular annual stuff on Square, Casey, I'm going, did you, somebody singing and other, maybe some bell ringing and stuff like that, so, okay. Good time to be had Monday night.
They got
Hopefully.
second place at something.
Second place is something.
It says GHS varsity cheer, second place. They are thankful for Southern Spirit. I guess that's the competition.
Okay,
And the competition scene that they provide for our state, so.
okay, cool.
Yay,
right.
cheer.
Ma'am?
Yay, cheer.
Yeah, cheers, good job. Committee reports, we have several in your packet or your tablet. If you don't have one, if anybody's missing, let us know. We'll get you that information, get with Danielle. I know Kenny's here tonight, so if you got a question, isn't he? Kenny's here, he's back there. And again, of course, Lisa, as I mentioned before, Lisa's husband passed away a couple of nights ago, so obviously she's not here. Citizen forum. We have 4 names that have signed up tonight, so it works like this. Everybody gets as much time as they want, except for Mr. Cox, and that's a little humor. I tried. I told him I was going to make fun of him. So what you do is you come to the microphone, give us your name and address, so we have it on the record, and you have 5 minutes to give your spiel to whatever you want to talk about to the council. So I have Jim Cox up first.
My name's Jim Cox. I live at 1200 Primrose Circle, and I've got my brother Hal Stewart here to back up. What I'm planning on discussing is a couple of parcels on Stewart Lane or Stewart Court, or you know where the gun range is. I'm sure all of you know. It's that area right there to the right, you know, where our parents lived, and I gave you this so you kind of follow along. The parcel I'd like to be talking about is parcel A, and then of course parcel B that's owned by the city, and you can see the pink area is what the city owns. If you look at the farthest southeast corner, that was the original marking point of our parents' property.
He's got you up here, Jim, too. I don't know if you knew that.
Okay, that's good. Where's son?
Hunter did that.
Well, he did good.
Oh, he's over there.
You did great. Okay, that doesn't take any of my time. Anyhow, those are the two parcels that I'll be talking about. And I also have the burn pit. And the only thing I want to mention about that, I bragged really a bunch about how clean it was. And then I went up there and I noticed there were some concrete culverts that were put in there. They weren't for storage. It looked like they were just being dumped up there. So if that can be addressed, I'd really appreciate it. And, you know, Hal and I, we're trying to wrap things up for our parents' estate. Our parents, H.B. and Barbara Stewart, I know most of you, perhaps all of you, know them extremely well. And one thing that our mom was, she was definitely a Proverbs 31 lady. And she paid the bills. And if you know our dad, he made the deals. And he bled navy blue. And if there was anything that needed to be done for the Greenwood School District or the Greenwood community, he was always willing to do that. And he and Lefty Parker got together, and of course, that's when the city needed some land, you know, for the lake. And one of the things that we remember discussing with our dad was the fact that Lefty said if all that area remains fenced, that land could go back to you, you know. So that's what parcel, and I call it parcel B. So that's the one to the right, and that's the area that we're talking about right there. If you look at that, well, let me give you an idea. So when we were executing the will of our parents, you know, I went down to the courthouse. Hal had paid the taxes the previous year. So I went down this last March, and I noticed that there was a little triangular piece, and those taxes have been paid since 1957 on that piece of property. Matter of fact, I was the one that paid the taxes this year. Like I said, Al took care of all the taxes for all the property the previous year. That second page, what I was going to do is that pink area, there are 11 parcels according to the court documents on that. Okay, going back to the March meeting when I went down and I saw that property and we paid the taxes and all that, and so I thought, is this really our property? So I did come down to the city hall and visited with Hunter, visited with the mayor, and pulled the information up, and it looked like it was our property. So I'm thinking, okay, you know, we're going to go ahead and move along with it. Went to a title company after a month, didn't see anything. She basically said, well, the only way you're going to really find out is if you look at the minutes of the city council. So, you know, that was a month later on. So anyhow, long story short, when I started going through the paperwork again, if you turn that next page, you'll see a warranty deed. Okay? Oops. There's a warranty deed, okay? Now, if you'll notice, again, knowing our dad, a handshake and someone's word was plenty for him. If you knew him, you knew that's how he was. And so you see a price of $10, and then you'll see the date, February of 1990. Okay, that's just, so my next thing was I came down and I talked with, well, actually I talked with Doug first, and they were having a meeting. So Doug gave me a call back and able to visit with Travis and Doug, and then Sonny was in there, and oh, goodness gracious, tell me the name. Hunter, I know that. Anyhow, Hunter was there. So I gave him this information, and we talked, and you know, we even discussed adverse possession, which, as far as a government entity, that doesn't really matter. Now, if this was, if that little triangular piece was, if it was a private individual that was right next to it, then as far as us owning that property by adverse possession, that would be a given. You know, but this is a city, and Hunter also explained about the boundaries and the reason that was taken out and all that other stuff. Again, just showing you the warranty deed, and then that the next page over, if you'll notice, and what's interesting to me, down there at the bottom, it says that little piece, that triangular piece, was appraised for $30,825. Now, previously, I want to say like a year ago, when I pulled the information up, it was like $24,000. And by the way, I went to the courthouse again, trying to establish who rightfully owned it. You can see that on the next page, it goes from 2014 all the way up to 2024. And you may wonder why it started in 2014. Well, if you look at the next page, you'll see the H.B. Stewart tracks, and down there, June 2013. Okay, so that's why it doesn't show all those payments. And Hal walked along with the surveyor when they did all that stuff and understood all those points. How am I doing on time, Doug?
You're about 6 minutes over.
Okay. The next page basically just shows the acreage, and what Hunter also showed was it's actually about 1.8 acres instead of 3 acres. And so, you know, our desire is for us to be able to, you know, have the old property as much as we can. And you know, so when I talked with the group that was meeting in October, they said, you know, that's up to the city council, and so that's why I'm here. So just for your consideration, I mean, we want to be able to hand that property down to our kids and grandkids, and I'll answer any questions, or Hal would be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Mayor, Could we move this to agenda item 1?
Sure.
Because this is obviously gonna take some time.
Sure.
They're probably requesting some action.
Yeah.
And, I didn't want to.
Started to do that anyway, but I was gonna wait and see.
But let's go on through citizens forum and let's, I make a motion, we move him to new business.
Okay.
So that would be number 3. We're just gonna shift everything else down.
And
The
the
only-
motion's not required, because
Yeah.
we can add things.
We had something down for Zach. Zach Johnson is not here, I don't see him, is that correct? On an item, anybody see him unless he's,
I'm
item?
gonna handle it.
You got it, so we don't need to do his first.
No,
Because
no,
he's not
he's
being
not.
here, okay.
Thank you, Ron.
So,
That's correct. That's
so we're
correct.
just gonna go through and.
That's the
Come
one.
back to
This
it.
other
Like I said, it's my
discussion.
first time
So
here
you,
doing all this.
and now, at that time, you get 30 seconds. We didn't take that.
I don't
Get
want
on
out
to
on
it.
that one.
You did good,
Thank you, Ron.
perfect, all right. Okay, oh, I'm sorry, Get back to where I'm supposed to be here. Next on the list, Mr. Dunn, you will come up?
Yes.
I feel a little bit like, I'm at a family Thanksgiving and introducing myself as the uncle. But anyway, I'm Wade Dunn. I live in Greenwood, live on Chisholmville Road. And I'm running for state senate. I'm married to Susan. I think everybody here knows my wife. We've been married 43 years. 45 years in business, 25 years at Pepsi, where I started loading trucks, and the last several years over there, I ran them with it. And as you know, many of you know, I'm on the East Side convenience store for right at 20 years, and Carlson Super Shop for about 17 years. I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican, and I believe I stand firm on conservative values, such as 100% pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, complete support of law enforcement. I want to lower taxes. When I ran 3 years ago, the most predominant thing I heard at the door was, from seniors, was I never own a home. I can pay my house off, but I always have to pay property taxes. And you know, if you read the Constitution, I think it's the 4th and the 14th, and maybe the 5th and the 14th Amendment, it says we need to be secure in our property. And for those seniors who have lived the American dream, pay taxes all their lives, pay their property off, they're just one financial setback from losing that property, or maybe a bad adjustment from an assessor. So I want to lower the taxes to those seniors and veterans. I want to cut the property tax for them completely. If I can't do it completely, I'm going to do it at 50% of current. Now, in order to do that, we've got to cut costs. In business, I was always a very cost-focused business person. And the example that I like to give is, you know, if you just continue spending the same thing year over year over year without ever saying, let's just forget everything we know and rebuild this business from ground zero as far as the cost. At Pepsi, we used to call it zero-based budgeting. I bet you know what zero-based budgeting is. So that's what I want to take to Little Rock or Arkansas. One of my opponents, not the person that's here tonight, wants to say, Wade wants to cut funding from schools. Well, that's insanity, because we don't have a choice. School funding is a constitutional mandate, so school funding cannot be affected by that. We just have to, and currently the way it works, and Greenwood's a prime example, Mr. Cecil and I talked the other day, Greenwood, about 50% of their funding comes from property taxes, and the other 50% is made up by state. So in this scenario, that, you know, what, 1 or 2% that would be cut from property taxes would just have to be made up by the state. And I want to do that by saving money, and something similar to what they did with Doge, and just go back and look at the books and where can we go. The Franklin County Prison is probably the biggest one issue in this election. I'm adamantly opposed to that. There is, the way they went about it was wrong, and I appreciate this city council and your action that you took early on. You know, Gary Stubblefield, who was a dear friend, I talked to him a day or two after they announced it. He said they called me at 4 o'clock the evening before they made it public and told me That's just not the way we operate in the River Valley. We don't come in the dark of night and announce something like that. There's infrastructure issues, and water is unsolvable at this point. So I want to do that. I want to cut regulations. With any store business and Pepsi both, I dealt with trying to operate a business. And to be honest, Arkansas government is not user-friendly for business. And I want to take that experience and challenge those laws and challenge new laws and regulations to make it easier for businesses to operate. And I will say, the last thing I want to say is I am the only candidate in this race that's endorsed by the Stubblefield family. If not for Amber Sullivan, who's Gary's daughter, and Gary's wife, I would not be in this race. They called me and said, Wade, we want you to run because we think you're the only one that will carry out what Dad is doing. With their urging and my wife's is the reason I'm here. And I'm very excited to go do that. I know that we've got, whoever wins this election has some very big shoes to fill. And I just want to introduce myself, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Next on the list is Ms. Buckley.
Thank you all so much for some of your time tonight. My name is Ashley Buckley, and I'm currently running for Sebastian County Circuit Court Judge of Division 5. I grew up in this area. A big part of my childhood was being a member of my family in the Greenwood Roundup Club, and horses are a big part of my life and still are. But I grew up at the fairgrounds here and riding in the parade with the green bandana. And then I went on to be an Old Fort Bay standee as well, and then I went to law school. And so I've been practicing law going on 16 years. After law school, I was a Sebastian County deputy prosecutor, and I worked in David Shue's office for several years. And the cases that I really focused on are crimes against children, child abuse, domestic violence, and those were a big part of the cases that I tried. I tried numerous jury trials in those cases. They were really important to me. I had a lot of experience in court trying those cases. I also worked for a big law firm in Memphis right after law school, so I had jury trial experience in federal courts there as well, representing large Fortune 500 companies, trucking companies. And then I ultimately, after I left the prosecutor's office, to go be an assistant U.S. attorney. And I did that, and I was based in Fort Smith, and we covered the whole western side of the state. But a big part of my work was I worked in the Project Safe Childhood Division, and so my cases were focused again on child abuse, child exploitation, human trafficking, things like that. And actually, Greenwood PD was a big part of my work, and I did a lot of work with them. We had someone from Greenwood PD on our Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, and that combined Department of Homeland Security, FBI. We worked with Fort Smith PD and Greenwood PD, and actually Greenwood PD helped a lot with our the technology side of our work and getting our search warrants done. And so I've had a lot of experience doing that. Tried cases. I actually argued appeals on behalf of the United States, and so I have stood very similar to this before the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, which is just one step below the United States Supreme Court. And so I've argued cases before the 8th Circuit, briefed them, and one case in particular that I'm really proud of went on to really set law that made requirements for sex offenders traveling interstate and punishments for them a lot harsher. And so I'm really proud of that result. And then after that, I started a family. And so traveling so much to be an assistant U.S. attorney became difficult. So I went into private practice with my husband. And so we've been practicing law together. Our office is in downtown Fort Smith. We've been practicing together going on 10 years, and we do jury trials together. We've tried a wrongful death case and secured a multi-million-dollar verdict. We've done all sorts of cases from breach of contract, construction, and so the position I'm running for Circuit Court of Division 5, it's half criminal and half civil, and that's where you have your jury trials in Circuit Court, and it's felony cases. So I have the criminal experience, and I have the civil experience that I think is really important for that. My husband and I, we live not too far from here. We live in Bonanza, just right off of Bear Hollow Road, and so that's where we live there with our 2 sons. My mother has worked at the Greenwood Courthouse for many years in the assessor's office, and she's been with the assessor for going on 20 years too. So my family is really rooted here in this community. I just think it's so important the work that circuit court does. Most people think that they'll never, end up or intersect with circuit court at some point, but I've told a lot of people, if you drive a car, you own a business, you pay for a business, you enter a contract, there are so many different ways that you might end up, in circuit court. And I promise you, anybody who has a case there never expected it to. And so that's why I think the work that is done there is so important, and it's really important, I think, to get it right. And so that's a big part of why I'm running, is we really need really good, careful, thoughtful diligence in the work that's being done in circuit court, and that's something that I want to bring to it. I was really honored this past week. I was endorsed by the Gun Owners of Arkansas, so I was able to share that. So I'm excited. My election is nonpartisan, and so the general election's on March 3rd. So, yeah. Does anybody have any questions?
I just have a statement, I'm a former deputy as well, so.
I have a question. You still have a horse?
I do. We
On
have
behalf
two
of the chamber, I apologize, you can't ride a parade.
I know. Well, my horses are really, really old,
Oh,
so they would make it anyway.
Okay.
So.
Anything from the council? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, you're up.
Hey everyone, my name is Stacy Smith. I am a longtime resident here in Greenwood. In fact, I've lived in the same house out on Shadow Lake for 30 years. I just feel like I'm on vacation every single day. Professionally, I worked at Golden Living for 18 years. I did state elder care issues. I did 2 decades of in and out of state houses in the South, and you get to learn a lot about how to make the sausage, to be honest, and you get to learn about the good in the communities and how to improve them, and just how to get back into those communities that we serve for all those years. And I'm proud of that knowledge. I'm proud of those lessons. Golden Living shut down, and Tim and I think we had 5 teenagers at home, and we absolutely did not want to move. And we were lucky enough to land a new role at the gas company here in Fort Smith, Arkansas Oklahoma Gas. They've operated for 75 years. There, I get to do government affairs work along with more community engagement. And I have a team that goes out to 6 states that gives back to communities in a variety of ways through sponsorships and charitable giving and volunteer efforts. It's really, truly a great organization where you get to work side by side with these hardworking tradespeople. And as far as advocacy, I've learned so much about environmental and just new exciting ways, renewable gas, and that landfill here in Fort Smith is what kept us going in 2021 through Winter Uri. And I can't believe that much gas came out of that landfill. So it's a very exciting time to be in the natural gas business, I assure you. I'm running because I too knew Gary Stubblefield. He supported us here in Greenwood a lot, many times. One of the things I did on a civic level, and something I was very passionate about, is I worked at the city's recycle center on those one Saturday, once a month for 4 hours. I coordinated a group called Team Green, where I got the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and a lot of the civic organizations in the schools together, the cheerleaders, you name it, the Beta Club. Miss Skaggs was one of my greatest, partners in getting those kids out there. And we worked the recycle center, and oftentimes I would ask for state lawmakers to come out and join us and be there for the kids. So Stubblefield came out. We had Senator Bruce Holland at the time. I'm aging myself. We had Crawford came over. She was our representative at the time. And these kids got to engage with lawmakers and learn about giving back to the community. We worked numerous hours out there, and I'm super proud, and I truly enjoyed it until you have a hired person now, which is great, and Tim and I still go there. Lastly, Tim and I raised 3 Eagle Scouts with some others on the commission up here. We are super proud of our boys. They gave back to the parks and recreations, and I was looking at that map there. I think we could put in some trails around that Greenwood Lake. We're very, very proud of that, and we hike those areas as a family. So I feel that the River Valley is a great place to live, and I want to have my grandchildren experience what my kids experienced. And I feel that with my knowledge of how laws and you know, all of the government work that I've done, I would be a good fit in replacing Mr. Stubblefield. I do want to add that our election got turned up. I've been door knocking like a fool, and nobody knows the election is January 6th. It's in about a month, and it's going to be, we're the only thing on the ballot. So let everyone know, January 6th, there is an election, and I would appreciate your vote. Any questions?
Council? Thank you very much.
Great.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you all for coming tonight and giving your time to us and answering questions and being, introducing yourself. So thank you so much. I skipped a little something a while ago I need to do real quick. Mr. Purvis, would you come up for just a second for me, please? This is not my job to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Like I said, it is my job. So recently there was the Best of the Best in the River Valley event in Fort Smith, if you're familiar with that. It was a great event, wonderful dinner. Bob was not there to get this, so I'm going to present it to you, sir, and get a picture where we're at. Here we go. Chief Hobbs is our photographer tonight. So congratulations. Thank you, sir. And I'm going to present myself one. Charlotte, why don't you come up and you and I will present. I'll present it to you.
Okay.
It actually is, it says the Best of the Best Winter Greenwood Place to Live. It doesn't say the best place to live, it just says place to live. So we'll take credit. Hold your applause, please, to the end. Anything to get the picture, I say. Okay, so we will move on, and next on the agenda is the financial report. You're standing between Jim Cox and us, so Jim, however you want to handle that.
Wow. How do I follow that?
How do you follow that?
Well, with numbers. So what I want to first start out to show you is the key financial data. If you'll notice, the city sales and use tax revenue dropped the same period. We had a negative 14.38% change, negatively obvious, from the collections or the distribution that we had in the month of November to the previous month of November. The cumulative growth is now down to negative 5.02%, which against budget is we're down 8%. The county sales tax, however, was up 3.35% from the same period in November. The cumulative growth, 25 over 24, is now positive, slightly, just barely over zero, but we budgeted zero. It was a neutral, or we budgeted no growth, and we're actually right at it. So we've achieved it. If that holds for one more month, we'll end the year with we basically said we were going to budget and operate on. As far as the advertising and promotion, these numbers are adjusted from what you have in your tablets from the report that was sent out, because we included the receipts that came in from Friday through today. We had, because of this early cutoff, we can't really close the books for November until we get through the actual retainage period, which is usually the first week of December in this case. So we updated this to reflect the actual same period change from November to November of last year, 31.93% decline. That puts our cumulative AP tax growth at negative 5.49 or 5.5%. And our above budget tax growth is a negative 9 because they budgeted a 4% gain. So that's a trend that we've been seeing all year long. There was 3 months when there was some collective, you'll see it when I go through the rest of it, there was some collective arrears payments that supported it a little bit for a 3-month period where we had some positive gains. However, most of this we're seeing as a trend is a decline in the actual A&P collections of compared to. As far as the next is concerned, this is your 17 through 25 historical, and this is where the 5.02% falls out. We're at 3,000,002 against last year's 3,000,004. We're 5.02% down, 14.38% for the year. And I'll show you the other good news. This is all the cities, city sales and use tax for the month of November's distribution, and 2 of us, Huntington and us, were the only 2 that experienced a negative percent change. Everybody else was up. And that usually tends to have me drive towards the rebate in order to say that's what's causing this. And I will show you that we did experience in the rebates another month of a large rebate that if you add up the 3 months in a row and compare it against the 2 months that there was the rebates from the June fiscal year end submissions, you're only about $600 off. So I kind of anticipated this to be about $8,500. It ended up being $91. However, when you take that into consideration along with the audit adjustments, which was nil, it was basically $2.40, no big deal as far as that's concerned, and you look at what it does, by looking at the amount that was distributed in November of 25, comparing that to November of 24's distribution, that's your 14.38%, taking no consideration for the add back of the rebate. So when you neutralize the rebate in the audit, you come back to the collected tax that was amount that could have been distributed had there not been a rebate. And that still is a 13.21% decrease. So that's an issue. That parlays back to the taxable sales drop of about $2.7 million between September of 25 and September of 24's collections or actual retail sales. That's your 13.21% because we're adding back the impact of the rebates for both 24 and 25, kind of neutralizing it. Now, when you look at the whole year, which is this bottom number, this would be through November, the amount of distributed city sales and use tax on a cash basis was down before rebate and audit, 4.87% for the year so far. And that's different because it includes the bond, it includes the 25% collection, quarter of 1% rather tax for the bond. So all this is all in. But when you look at the collected tax after the rebate adjustment, we're still 2.64% down for the year. And that's about $5.3 million in taxable sales. And that negates the impact of the rebate. So there's something to be said about where the taxpayers' dollars were going in the month of September, which is your November distribution. Now, when you go look at the county sales tax, we were up 3.35%, and that's where this impact became positive. First time this entire year, we are now back into the positive on the county sales tax. That side does not, we share and share alike with all the other cities within the county, as well as the county itself. So when you look at that, you're basically seeing that there's no rebates and no audits to have to worry about in this side of the equation. So let's look at the combined sales, both city and county, are down 2.9%. So there was an uptick in the actual combined sales tax of the loss of the amount that we're down for the year. We got 5.6 million against 5.8 million of the previous year through the January to November period. And that's cumulative. All right, so that's the bad news there. Let's look at the advertising and promotion. This is the amount that was collected so far through November. This does include all the receipts that came in today. So that is why this has been adjusted. It was over 40%. So 31.93, and that's a negative 5.5%, basically. Down. And you see it's all negative. collections that occurred for past amounts that were due in the month of November 24. And then you look at the 16 for 25 to November, and then you see what it's doing on an annual year-to-date basis. So we're below. If you want to know what the projection is, in order for them to hit their 4% growth, they would have to have December's collection, which the month we're currently in, come in at 37,000. The average that we had for 10 months was 19. The remaining 2 months was 17. That number's got to change because November's not in there yet. So this average collection needed to break even in order to come up with this amount that we had last year. In order to get to the 236, before you take into consideration November's numbers, would have had to have been $37,000. It's just not happening. As far as the cash flow is concerned, for the city, this is the cash beginning balance of $17 million. This is all in for the city. We had a net decrease for the month of November of $53,000. The year-to-date decrease in cash was almost $4 million. Most of that was due to the amount of spending that was done on the water sewer side for a lot of their major projects that they have going on. The current fund balance for the end of November is, or at the time we did this report, which was the 25th of November, $13,088,000. That is a decrease in the fund balance of 23.21%. Don't get alarmed because you actually approved a budget that had a decrease in this fund balance of 67.04%. So we're 1 month left to go, and we're well short of the 67% that we had anticipated rather being our reduction in cash. If you look at the capital expenditures, the last thing that we normally look at in this report is the capital improvements for the city. Spend was $7.5 million on a $15.8 million budget. That's 47.42%. That's actually pretty good compared to previous years at this time. Normally we're below that number. As far as the water sewer is concerned, they are at $4.5 million through a $10.9 million budget. That's 41.38%. They will, based on some of the invoicing that we currently have coming in now for the month of December, our first payout in December should put them above 50%. So they will actually hit that 50% mark, which they promised they would do. As far as the city capital spend is concerned, this is everything but water sewer. Their budget was almost $5 million. They spent $3 million. They're 60.8%. So these two make up this $15 million budget, and the 3 and the 4 is at 75. So it broke out between the city excluding water sewer, and what the city did as a whole. And that's what we'll do until we go through the audit reports. And I'll show you those later.
Thank you, Tom. Spend your money in Greenwood, Arkansas. We need sales tax
Small
revenue.
business, that shop.
You know,
Shop local.
while we've got some state people here that are running for state jobs, you can see the construction rebates are killing us. Now, the Little Rock guys kept their money, took it away from us. You know, I used to be a tenant of the Republican Party for local control. That would be really, really nice if the Republican Party would get back to that tenant, because I know both of y'all are running as Republicans. So that's a killer, those construction rebates. We're putting up with all the disaster and all the problems, and they're jerking all the money back. And not the state guys, not Little Rock. We're living large off the money that we collect, and we're dealing with the bad stuff. So
I was reading an article just recently that Louisiana and Texas both participate in the rebate, in the rebates. Arkansas is one of the few states in this area that does not participate. And so the counties and local municipalities are paying all of this rebate. And it makes it really tough to figure out when the sales tax are coming in and when those rebates are going to hit. And it's not just a drop in sales tax, it's also making it very unpredictable for us to plan. So it's really burdened.
Stuff. Okay, anything else from council? Thank you.
Probably shouldn't say anymore.
No, do I?
I probably shouldn't say
Oh, hey,
anymore.
it's time to say it. Time to say it. Thank you, Mr. Marsh. Agenda additions, we do have two, if the council would allow these. We got number 8, which is an update on I-49. We have a little short video we want to show you later. I think Sonny's going to kind of initiate that for us here in a little while. And then number 9 is a budget extension resolution, finance. So everybody's okay with those two?
We have also, in planning, we have an ordinance put on there for permit fee schedule.
Oh, okay.
Get that one.
That's 10 or,
10.
10.
Yes.
And then, of course, 11 is Jim Cox property issue.
no,
Well,
I was
then
wanting
he's
that
top.
moved
Yeah, but
to-
that's 11.
Yeah, 11 up the top.
AI policy?
You have to stay for 4 hours. What would that
It's already
be?
on there.
Okay,
Cox Stewart is number 1.
right. Okay. Moving on. So number 1 is, yes, sir. You're up.
So what do I do now?
I think you said, I mean, you say anything more you need to say. I think the council, this is Roger.
Any questions? I'm glad to answer.
Yeah. What questions and/or what would you like, my question would be, just not to kind of get things going, what would you like to see us do about this for you or with you?
Well,
I think is the-
I mean, we'd like to keep the property.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's our #1 goal.
Okay.
But again, you know, we understand that there's circumstances and just wanted the council to hear where we're coming from. Like I said, I went through all kinds of stuff trying to figure out, is that one piece our property? And everywhere I turned, it was, and then I found the warranty deed. I mean, my first thought was, the city needs to know about this. Because what we're trying to do is wrap up the estate, and we're really not. We even signed papers last Monday on some stuff. Yes, sir.
We're talking about,
If I may, just to clarify for the council's purpose, if I'm understanding correctly, you or your family has been paying the taxes on that 1.78 acres since 1990 when it was actually deeded to the city, is that correct?
Well, from the time they had the property, that was 1957. So all this time, the
But
1990.
the 1990 deed was from your parents to the city.
Exactly.
And the reason for that was because we needed a buffer around the lake.
That's correct.
But you or your family continued to pay the taxes on that all these years,
Right.
the last 35.
Right.
Well, Howard did, you only paid one. You should have just said.
I'm listening to the lawyer.
I just had to make that point. I didn't know if everybody heard that or not.
I just didn't know if everybody understood what the,
That was the big question is, hey, and
Yeah.
like I said, our mom, she paid all the taxes and continued without even asking any questions. And then, again, we paid them throughout.
so we're talking about the triangle, right?
yes,
And they've been paying taxes since 1957.
that's correct.
But at some point, Halton's, it become the city's,
Yes.
but you continue to pay sales tax.
Real estate tax.
Real estate
Yes.
tax. Now, what's the 3.4 acres?
Okay, that's the area that's been fenced since, I know, at least the middle '60s. And it's about 20 feet from that road that goes down to the gun range. And so, I mean, you know, again, adverse possession, I mean, it doesn't have any weight as far as government stuff.
Is that y'all's or the city's?
Well, it used to be ours.
So it belongs to the city right now?
Yes.
Clearly?
According to all the documentation we've seen. Yeah.
So that clearly belongs to the city. So but the
Well,
1.7, the
What
triangle,
we're wanting to try to do is just swap.
you would like to do a swap
Just
and
do a
clear all
swap.
that.
That
So if a
totally
swap,
backed me up.
so if a swap was made, we have to maintain that 300 feet. So we get that 300 feet back.
Right.
And then also, the dam is right there. At some point, we're most likely gonna need that area for construction. Unless y'all have looked at the dam different than the way
I'm
I.
talking about the triangle area.
I'm talking about the triangle.
Yes.
That would be where you would probably bring in some construction stuff. So if we don't deal with it now, we'll be dealing with it later. And then it may be a lot more costly, like everything's more costly for us, the way we procrastinate. So,
I mean, if it's okay for a swap, I mean, that's really the ideal type of thing that we'd like. Because, again, the buffer, the way Hunter was explaining, there's, what's the number of feet?
It's a 300-foot buffer. That's what the blue lines portray on the screen, is a 300-foot buffer from a contour line around the lake.
So which line represents the 300-foot?
The blue, the
whole blue.
yeah, that's the 300.
Because it's from the shoreline technically, wherever that shoreline happens to be, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
The numbers worked out at the, like I said, the nearest contour elevation mark,
Yeah.
which was, I think it was 2 feet above current lake level.
So the triangle clearly lies completely within the 300.
The boundary lines up exactly
Oh,
at 300
And
feet.
the other one lies outside the 300 foot.
And I think it's also important for the council to understand that, I believe that they feel like that was theirs all this time. They've been maintaining it and holding it out as theirs. Because we didn't know about the deed from the
Right.
90s, correct?
Right.
Like a fair swap to me. Yep.
That's what we kind of talked about briefly in our meeting, or both of those meetings.
Yes, if at all possible, I mean, that's,
I was just curious, what do the purple lines represent?
that's our property.
Those are existing property boundaries right now.
Now, is this something you're looking to develop?
No, we like the deer that roam.
I'm just curious.
Well, if all you're looking for is a motion, I'll make a motion that we get the paperwork started and swapping these two pieces of property. I'll second.
Have a motion and a second.
And this doesn't impact our the buffer.
It actually brings us in compliance.
It fixes, yeah, we're not in compliance at all.
Okay.
Is that,
That's wonderful.
is that,
And there's no money involved, right?
No money.
yes, sir, Mr. Burris?
The city owns
Go ahead and sideboard.
Mr. Contract,
With this
According
property
to the
swap.
deeds,
Just
does
a
the
second.
city own both of them?
Of record, yes.
Yes.
How do we
They
swap?
get paid, they get paid.
So we're wanting
I
to,
think it's more about relinquishing.
Yeah.
They would quit claiming
I'm
us,
for you, but.
Yeah.
they would quit claiming
How do
us,
we swap if the city owns them both?
they would quit claiming us the triangle piece. We would deed them the other piece. Although the triangle piece is in our name, they could have a claim to it because they've possessed it and been paying the taxes on it for the last 35 years.
which the city would be an exempt from, so there's a.
Well, but the only hang up there is that it was our property to begin with. Now, what this adverse possession thing is, it's mainly talking about people that are trying to take over parks and take over things that was previously owned by city government. Am I right? Travis?
Proud enough.
I was kind of saying, the city probably wouldn't have paid those taxes because we're exempt from property taxes.
But they shouldn't have
Right,
paid them either.
Yeah.
right. So there's an amount of money there that really shouldn't have ever gone to the county.
The county does.
Oh,
The county does.
Yeah.
you're just saying nobody should have been paying taxes.
Yes.
Right, because the city wouldn't have had to pay them.
Right,
So
so that's.
if you want to go ahead and pay us what you pay.
I like the motion.
You like the motion?
Seconded.
I don't want to muddy it for you, Mr. Cox, Dr. Cox, sorry. I forget that sometimes. Okay, so we do have a motion to say, I mean, the open discussion for sure.
Well, I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
That 3.4 acres, I mean, that's right next to the gun range. I mean, that's not going to be.
Doesn't affect any of that. That property, right there, the fence line is at least 20 feet from that road that goes down. So it would not affect anything that the city or the policemen are doing at all.
Where's the burn pile?
It's in that little, see that clear right above?
Yes,
that
sir.
3 point, that's the burn
Okay,
pile.
not in either one of these. For some reason, I had it in the corner of that, okay.
Well, see, this butts up to Hal's property, is what it does. You know,
But the burn pile is on, or burn area.
It's the Greenwood area.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the,
Okay.
that pink.
Okay,
It's in that pink area.
okay.
You don't like my drawing? I mean, I got it
I,
back there.
I love your drawing.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes, sir. Yes,
I've
sir.
got a question. You briefly mentioned some trash right there by
Well,
the gun range.
It's,
Towels or something, is it?
well, so it's the burn pit, and what somebody's done, they've dumped the concrete culverts. Now, I drove up today and kind of look at it, and it looks like they've been pushed to the very side or the front. You know, I mean, you can't see it unless you drive up in there. But that's a concern, you know, because if people know we're gonna start dumping stuff there.
We're better neighbors than that.
Are they broken or they just look like?
Some were, some weren't. And then I did notice the previous time I went up there, there was a flat concrete piece, and it looks like that has been moved. So that part's good. I mean, I was bragging to that committee that I spoke with in October. I mean, the first time I went up there, I thought, wow, this is a building site. I mean, it was that clean. And then we saw that other, and I thought, oh,
If that doesn't get cleaned up in the next few weeks, if you'll send me pictures, the next council meeting, I'm gonna put them right up here. And we're gonna have a deeper conversation about being better neighbors. So if Doug leaves town for 2 weeks and the assistant mayor becomes mayor, she'll have it cleaned up 24 hours. Guaranteed.
Here we go.
Oh, thank you, Ron.
well, we appreciate it.
We didn't know about it until you just said it. When I say we, I had no idea until you just told me.
I know that.
So
How about I just email Jeff right now and
that
have
would be
them
a great
get
idea.
on
The
it?
only one that's not here tonight is the person, probably
sick.
his department that took it up there.
Well, nobody knew about it. I mean, as far as from the city council on.
There's no question we'll get it cleaned up.
Well, I knew you would.
It does. Send me pictures, and they're gonna be up here next meeting. And we'll have a lot deeper conversation.
But thank you for the motion and the other.
Oh, we hadn't voted yet.
Well, I said thank you for the motion. The other question is, how will the deed read?
Mr. Lauren, I'm sorry, he's asking
How
how
will
the deed would read.
Well,
Could you just put it in Howard, Virginia's name?
sure.
Because that way we wouldn't have to go through the.
Whatever you guys prefer is fine.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to go
Then
through all this stuff.
if it's both, all of you, then you gotta start over, is that what you're trying?
Well, we.
Yeah, right, exactly.
No, there's no internal fighting, but we had to sign some papers this last Monday because of a mess up and some paperwork years ago.
Okay.
We can meet later and figure out whatever you guys need.
That's wonderful. Okay.
So if,
So to be clear, it's a quick claim on the 1.7 acres piece and a redeed or deed over the 3.4 acres.
Yes.
Okay, that's the small.
And do they have a means of getting refunded for, paying all those
That's not
taxes?
necessary.
Is that okay?
That would be necessary.
All right.
I mean, that's the cost. That's the cost to the city.
It would be.
After you look at,
Wouldn't be us.
well,
that's the county.
county.
So feel free to pursue.
That's the county. Well, that's the county.
Well, they shouldn't have been, if it's in our name,
We don't
we don't pay those taxes, and you shouldn't have, I mean, that's
Family shouldn't have.
that's a,
If you click on the tax record for that 1.7 acres, it depicts it as 3.2 acres, 3.3 acres.
it's got the wrong,
All the county has done is swap parcel numbers and showed ownership on incorrect parcels based on bad language in the deeds originally. So they've been paying taxes on 3.2, 3.3 acres, which is what they were supposed to have owned originally. It's just showing incorrect ownership. So they would
So
have
they would
paid,
have paid taxes.
they would have been paying taxes in the correct amount the entire time.
okay.
Way to go, Hunter. Good.
I understand that.
Yeah, we're planning on keeping him.
Well, I was hoping
He was named employee of the month this morning. so-
Year. Quarter of a year.
Year, sorry.
Any other questions for me?
Yeah, we need to vote.
You want to call?
Yes, please.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Terry? Mr. Meeker?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Rainwater?
Yes.
Mr. Tedford? Mr. Powell?
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
So now we need to study the rest
Oh,
of
the whole thing.
I don't think contact.
I don't think I keep out. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Tell we did it for Janet.
That's a fact.
Tom, can you check that microphone?
In
and see
Virginia.
We
if
did it for
Is
Janet.
it
Janet
working?
and Jenny. We did it for Virginia and Janet. Did you hear that, House?
What?
We did it for Virginia and
I didn't
Janet.
think it was on. Yeah, this whole time.
Despite.
I believe that too.
Despite these two.
And yours wasn't on either. I don't think. You don't have it.
Ever since it came in.
Okay. Okay, regular time, okay, so, number one, on unfinished business is city attorney resolution adopting citywide AI policy. Table from previous meetings.
So this was tabled from last month. Mr. Powell had, Mr. Meeker had some suggestions. I think he addressed those. If you look at section 5, we changed that to read only AI tools authorized by the city's IT committee may be used for city business. And that organization that we use is a IT consultant or provider. They are part of that committee.
Yes.
And I believe we've already reached out to them to see what we could and could not use already. But that was really the only change besides the strike in section 10 where we changed the department committee. Is that correct?
Yes. Oh, but we'll change on the third page.
Excuse me. Yeah, the last page we added that it would be incorporated in the city's personnel policy handbook as well.
Yes, and we're gonna strike that ordinance and put resolution there. Right before that, so.
Replace ordinance with resolution.
Yes.
Yeah, it just says, it's just a typo.
I make a motion to approve this resolution.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Meeker?
Yes.
Mr. Terry? Mr. Rainwater?
Yes.
Mr. Tedford? And Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Number 2, the city attorney repeal replace ordinance number 23-17 private club permitting on the second reading.
Now, my understanding, this is just to get us in compliance with the state statutes.
That's correct. So we originally had our tax levy would be 10% on beer and then beer and wine, excuse me, and then 14% on mixed drinks. According to state statute, we can only levy half of what the state levies, so we reduced that to 5 and 7%. I believe we had, Charlotte, we had the application for.
Yes, we added,
We
we
had the
incorporated it.
application as Exhibit A, so anybody that wants to apply, this application's on file as Exhibit A for this ordinance.
Yeah, before it was adopted by resolution and it was way out there separate from the ordinance, it was really hard to find.
That's more of a housekeeping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so question, the state now says a for-profit may have the right of a, what is the term I'm looking for?
Private club.
Private club. Now, is this something that, I mean, this is a state, is it requiring us to do that? Or can the city be more restrictive and say, we don't want a private entity to have the same ability as a,
No, so we can be more restricted. Or, excuse me, we
we
could
can
be
be
more.
less
we could-
restricted, we can be more
We
restricted?
could be more restricted, but the state has opened it up to any for-profit individual, corporation, LLC, or whatever to be able to apply. Basically, what they did away with was the requirement to have a nonprofit organization.
501c3 has been
That's
eliminated.
been eliminated, but that's not addressed with this ordinance anyway.
Okay, so,
Everything in here still applies to the procedures and your taxation, everything is still neatly wound up.
Correct.
okay, so with the ordinance as it is, are we saying that a for-profit can operate with alcohol inside the city limits of Greenwood?
By considering this ordinance doesn't address that point. Correct.
But do we need to address that at some point in here?
It's not on state law anymore, so we wouldn't know 30 years.
State law says a nonprofit is not necessary anymore.
Is that what you're talking about, the nonprofit protection?
Well, I'm just saying that today, we don't allow the sale of alcohol inside the city limits, is that correct?
Unless you buy a private club license.
Okay, now they're limiting the, so is that still the case in Greenwood, or has that changed as a result of the state's change? That's what I want to clarify.
Everything's pretty much the same, except if you recall with La Fiesta, I don't know if you were even up here with them.
I've heard, that's why I'm asking.
They had an LLC that they kind of pulled out of the sky, and that was kind of a drawback for some folks.
Yeah.
And so they don't have to have that anymore.
Don't have to have made up nonprofit.
By the way, it doesn't, we're not, even no matter what you pass, is not saying they can sell it, it means they can apply to the ABC. It gives permission to said profit organization to apply to the ABC.
Once the council
Once
approves
the
that.
council approves that.
The ABC then
This
sees
is
the
how
council's
review
okay
process is
Right.
them applying.
what they need to get the ordinance to go before the ABC. Because the only thing you can have in a dry county is a private
Right.
club. And we're still a dry county.
Okay.
So the only thing, your only option is a private club. But you can be a restaurant and come apply. But before, you used to have a 501c3, which could have been, and there's one lawyer in Little Rock that had these all prepackaged up, and it was all a sham. And that way you keep the Tupelo Gentlemen's Club from being our 501c3, because it's obviously a sham.
So they would be applying as a for-profit business rather than having to, but it doesn't change anything the way Greenwood handles alcohol currently. Okay.
We don't have one of these
Just splits the taxes in half. But what about the $1,500? Is that still legit, or is that a problem with the state law, or is that just something we do?
That's us doing it in excess of what the state wants, what the minimum the state is required, which is our prerogative.
Well, but what we mainly did with this was correct the percentages of tax collected, right?
We were definitely out of.
On the supplemental beverage tax.
First time, originally. Because we were out of compliance with the state, with the taxes.
And when I presented that, they've shown that, I just municipally wrote that. I did
Maybe
not
Mike
do
Henry
it.
did, I thought.
No, they municipally wrote.
And they put that,
Yes, not David Schoen, who was the one that started municipally. He's
Don
dead.
Zimmerman. Don Zimmerman. Well, he didn't start it, but he was there all the
The
time.
one before that.
Oh, even before that.
Well, Don Zimmerman?
Yeah. He's older, he's dead.
That's Don.
That's Don?
Yeah.
Don Zimmerman
Yeah.
wrote it.
Because Mark Hayes is the director now, but it was.
Yes, okay.
it
I was
Don.
getting those two confused.
Yeah, it was Don Zimmerman.
I was gonna say, whoever it was before
Don
Ron
Zimmerman
wasn't in our
wrote
lifetime.
So Charlotte, if somebody's wanting to come get one of these applications, which is now Exhibit A,
Yes,
they come in here to go to you?
yes.
Okay. I was asking before I got here, and I told them to come see you tomorrow.
They come in and, yeah, I'll go through it with them and I give them a copy of this ordinance so they know all the instructions and it should all be there, but I'm able to answer their questions and.
I don't mean to start something that's not started, but is there a question from someone out there about the fee being different for a nonprofit?
No, this person didn't even know this even existed.
Okay.
They were driving about not being able to have a private club. I said, well, you certainly can. It's been on the books for 10 years.
Okay.
The change in the taxation.
Right, that's what I thought.
Now, where did that come from? You just poured through state law and found out that we were too excessive by law. Is that right?
Actually, we were in review, what were we looking at?
In the codification committee and
The
in the AI.
codification committee, we caught it in there.
So Don Zimmerman was wrong.
Somebody over there. Maybe some of his clerks did it.
Or it's changed. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and it's been years ago. So it's changed. He was either wrong or it's changed. He wrote it.
I would be reluctant to say that Don Zimmerman was wrong.
So it must have changed.
That's fine.
On the Exhibit A, where it says annual permit renewal cost $1,500. And it says initial permit if applied for by July 1st, $750. Should that be after July 1st?
You know, I was just looking at that and wondering why it's like that. It's something in state law about the costs. It's on this Exhibit A on page 8. Up at the very top, you can see, that's our costs of this thing. You would think so, that it would be cheaper in the latter half of the year, which is what you're pointing out, Mr. Brown, right? Like if somebody come in August, it should be
Right.
cut in half,
Like
basically.
half a year. Prorated. Yeah.
I don't even think it should be prorated month to month.
We need to look into that. I don't know if it's correct or not correct.
Well, that was the whole reason, because those, I think the last people tried it, came in afterwards and didn't seem fair, had to pay the full years of the initial year. Now, when January 1 gets here, you owe $1,500.
It's something in the state
And they
law.
They paid that at the time.
Yeah.
We've since refunded that so they can start over and not, we don't need to be holding it.
Yeah.
The check.
I make a motion that we adopt this resolution on the second reading with the clarification on Exhibit A about the $750 versus $1,500.
It's an ordinance.
Put it on second reading by title only, with that
Ordinance, excuse me, yes.
Second.
pending that Exhibit A.
We have a second.
Yes, sir, second.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Maker?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Rainwater?
Yes.
Mr. Tedford? Mr. Powell?
Yes.
It's unanimous. An ordinance repealing and replacing ordinance number 23-17, establishing a permitting process and privilege permit for selling or dispensing any controlled beverage within a private club within the city of Greenwood by businesses licensed by the state as a private club to sell alcoholic beverages, levying permit fees and a city supplemental tax of 5% of beer, wine, and 7% of mixed drinks upon the annual gross receipts which are derived therefrom, repealing any ordinance in conflict therewith, establishing penalties for the violation of these provisions and for other purposes. It is read.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. Moving on to number 3 under new business. I got a little carried away ahead of myself on this one. I'm going to pull this or table this for a while, meaning the celebration is not until next year. We want to make sure that we get our ducks in a row on this with cooperation. The Historical Society is already on board with us. The Chamber, of course, and the City of Greenwood will all get together and plan a big shindig. The date of our 175 years is March the 10th. We will celebrate more than likely on the 7th, because that's a Saturday. Is that right, Bob? So I'm going to table it for now.
You want to just withdraw it?
Yeah, we'll draw, if that's okay with council. I'm going to withdraw it, and we'll talk about it in a couple of months or so, so we have plenty of time to do. As you know, so Greenwood's celebrating 175 years next year, and the country is celebrating 250, so we don't want to.
And we're linking those on the state level.
Okay, cool. So we'll table or remove it, and we'll go on and get ready to plan our celebration.
What was it, March what?
Well, it's the date that we are officially 175 is the 10th, but we'll celebrate on the 7th. So it's on Saturday. Or that's the plan thus far.
I'll find out when my daughter's wedding is.
Oh,
We'll adjust.
okay, we'll adjust. Tell your daughter she may make a difference in our 175 year, depending on when she wants to get married. Or we could celebrate the day of the wedding. That'd be awesome.
We just have her wedding at
the celebration. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that'd be a lot cheaper.
I know there's already things being planned, reenactment and things like that, so we'll make a big deal. Number 4, Finance Director, 2024 Legislative Audit Report. Tom promised us this morning, these are both 30-second reports. Is that what you said? 30-minute report, that's what you said.
More like 45 minutes.
Okay.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy this riveting presentation you've all been waiting for. It is the results of the 2024 audit. You are going to get both of them, both the water sewer audit report and the legislative audit tonight. I'm going to just hit the highlights on it. I believe on your tablets you actually have the audit report. I gave you some additional papers that were loose on at your place that is pertaining to the water sewer audit. We'll get to that next. So you just put that aside. Those are the reports that don't go with the actual submitted audit. They are management letters and management information only, and they're not normally for general distribution. That's why they're separate. So the first thing I wanted to do is I'm going to move this over because I'm not looking at this. You're not looking at it. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to highlight a few things from the audit reports. If you have a question when you go through and peruse those on a night when you can't sleep, and you really have nothing else to do, go through that audit report with a fine-tooth comb. Some of the things that you come up with that are questions that I could most likely give you some answer for, please feel free to give me a call or come by the office. That would be fine. If it's something that I need to get some further explanation on as far as what was entailed in the actual work paper document from the auditor themselves, I can do that as well. So if there's any additional information from what is not presented here, but I'm going to try to give you the things that I think are more germane and important for you to hear and see from the 2024 audit, for legislative audit. I will tell you that this year we had asked them for the last 4 or 5 years to accelerate when they come to the city to do the audit. In the past, we were getting pushed way back in the year. So for instance, the 23 audit wasn't even started until September of 24. And it didn't end until December 18th when we finally got the report. So we asked them if they could maybe put us in the first or second quarter of the year, and they did. They accommodated us in 25. So the 25's report was issued in August, and or at least we got the wrap up in August, and the final report just came to us. We are required to present it to the council at the very next city council meeting from when the report was issued. So that's why you're getting it now. So this would be the first thing I wanted to point out. It was an unmodified opinion, as we've had consistently year after year. The statements that were prepared and the information that we provided to them represents fairly in all material respects the regulatory financial position of the general fund, street fund, and other funds in the aggregate of the city of Greenwood. Key is I'm not mentioning water sewer because they do not audit that. The responsibilities of management in the financial statements, we're responsible to present, for the preparation rather, and fair presentation of the financial statements. And in preparing the financial statement, management, that would be us, required to evaluate whether there are conditions or events considered in the aggregate that raise substantial doubt about the city's ability to continue as a going concern. They do audit that. They do ask every single one of us in the positions of management or leadership, including the mayor and Charlotte and myself, whether we have some going concern issues for the year and or shortly thereafter. And one of the things they look at is trends, and I've been showing you some of the negative trends, so they're going to be looking at that a little more closely in the future to see what our response to those negative trends are, as I just pointed out in our financials. So that's one of the things I wanted to point out. As far as internal control, they report on the internal controls and they give you a definition of deficiency. Our consideration of internal controls was limited purpose. That was described. It says, given these limitations, during our audit, we did not identify any deficiencies in internal control that we consider to be material weaknesses. So that's actually fairly decent as far as the report is concerned, because they do point out some weaknesses, but we have mitigating controls. So they allow that as long as they understand that we're a kind of a lean and mean machine when it comes to some of the financial aspects in our departments. So they understand that utopia segregation of duties is not necessarily something that we could achieve. and then we have to work around with mitigating factors. As far as this is a report that comes out, this was 2023's report. And the reason I'm showing you this is because there was an audit finding that was a supplemental finding in 2023's fiscal year-end report that was involving the mayor's office, and it said the city did not solicit bids for the purchase of a Parks Department truck in the amount of $40,980 in non-compliance with Arkansas Code 1458-303. Well, there was a reason for that. There was a miscommunication and misunderstanding regarding the Parks Department at that time, and whether the purchase was made from what they considered to be a car dealership that won the contract and had accepted or won the bid, and or whether they could honor or buy that truck. Bottom line is there was some circumstances that caused that to only be a supplemental. The purchase of the vehicle was in line with what the state bid was, but the actual vehicle wasn't the vehicle that was under the state bid. So that's why it was supplemental. Now, I just told you that the audit for 23, if you look down at the very bottom, that's why I put this on the screen. This didn't come to us as a finding until December of 2024. In 2024's audit, however, there's a management letter, and in the management letter, you'll see another mayor finding. This is a reportable, and it says the city did not solicit bids for the purchase of a street department truck in the amount of $61,000 in non-compliance with Arkansas Code. A similar finding was noted in the prior report, kind of implying as though we thumbed our nose at the initial finding of the previous year. However, the purchase of the street department, what happened here? The purchase of the street department truck was purchased February of 2024. The audit didn't even start until May, and that 2024 February, May of this year is when our audit for 24 started. That purchase occurred before we even knew about the 23 issue. So there's no way that we could have fixed that by the time the audit came in and did their audit. I'm surprised that that didn't get caught in a supplemental or a subsequent event review. It did not, and so it's not that we ignored the response that we did to the 23 audit. It's that we didn't know about this. It had already occurred until now, but we have put procedures in place to eliminate that from happening in the future. You guys are well aware of that, so that'll be one of the responses that will be given to Little Rock.
What are the procedures that we put in place?
I can share that with you. I don't have that response, but we presented our responses to that finding to the audit senior, I think her name was, the one that's in charge, the manager on the audit. She was here to actually present that finding, and we have to respond immediately. We get about a week in order from when we get the actual findings to give the response, and they were satisfied with that. I'll send you a copy of that.
And Tom, but we did budget for that truck.
Yes, you did. It has nothing to do with whether it was budgeted, it has to do whether you bid it out.
And to respond to your question, Mr. Brown, one of the, not that what you got written down, but one of the procedures is they get reminded every single month now that department head meetings to follow instructions and guidelines on state bid procedures.
That should also
we even
be
talked
one of your
about
first
tires.
questions if it's over a certain dollar amount is this required to go out for bids? And I'm hearing that a lot more now from you, and not to accept the, we're purchasing it from the state bid. Well, prove it.
Why were those two trucks not bought off the state bid?
I just told you about the parts, and you're asking the wrong person. You need to be asking the people who did that.
I think what they wanted wasn't in the pool that the bid had available as far as.
They didn't win the state bid. They had it previously, and they were following the lead of the police department, who had already purchased some from a state bid for their cars from Superior up in northwest Arkansas. Come to find out, Red River had now won the award, and that wasn't verified, and that's one of the reasons why. But 2023, we didn't even know about the 2023. We should have, that's an issue. But we didn't know about it as a finding until 24, the end of 24. July is when they purchased that truck, the Parks did. February is when they purchased the street truck. July of 23, February 24, the 24 audit didn't come to us, 23 audit, excuse me, didn't come to us until the end of 24. So those two had already happened. That was water under the bridge. We anticipated this was going to happen, and it ended up happening. So it's not like we just ignored them and we wrote a finding. And it'd be different if we wrote the response in like January, and then in February we went out and bought a truck and didn't go into the state bid, and we didn't follow our response. Is what I'm saying.
That's just kind of what it looks like.
It does, but now when you see the timeline, you know that's not what happened.
So both trucks were budgeted. Both trucks were not bought off a state bid. I guess the question was, they were competitively bid?
No.
They were not competitively bid.
No, if you buy from what is legitimately the award, the state bid contract,
So,
you don't need to bid it.
so to have made that correct, the council would have waived competitive bidding,
That wasn't done.
and that was not done on either one.
Correct.
But the prices were similar, they weren't far apart from the state.
This one, no. The other one was right in line. It just wasn't the right. It has to be with no additional add-ons. It has to be the stock, whatever that bid is. It has to be the exact same make, model, year.
Can I defend myself?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yes.
I did go look at similar spec trucks, that exact same vehicle more or less at multiple dealers, and we still received the lowest price. It's just a matter of going through the process.
Correct. That was for 23.
Yep.
So he was in line. And that's why it was a supplemental. It didn't go to a reportable. This became a reportable because it was that a similar finding was noted in a prior report. That's why it became a reportable. So I'm just saying that technically in the 23's audit, if they had audited subsequent events in February of 2024, both of those would have been written in the 23's audit, and it wasn't. It was a timing issue based on when they did the audit and what their sample selected. As far as these reviews.
Can we possibly review that process in the next meeting?
Sure.
Let's just do that.
Could we add it to the next agenda?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yep.
Just to make sure we understand that process. And
Also remember that when you're looking at it in the budget and they're coming up and they're making these purchases, the onus would be on you guys. You're the last step, last stop in making sure that that process is followed. Yeah, and that's in our finalists, our response. So we're kind of, everybody's got a part to play in this, and you're our stopgap.
I don't know of it listed in anything we have written in any policy, really, either,
Other
to
than-
require them to do second directors, and I don't think you can get told it when they're hired on,
Oh, they get told.
when they're hired to do
Yes,
it.
yes, ma'am.
So anyway,
I mean, the ones I've hired, that doesn't mean they to follow through, but they get told.
by the way, I'm the bearer of the bad news. I'm not the responsible one. So
But you do seem to have the answers.
this has this guy's name on it.
I know.
Well, thanks.
Just to point that out.
Say by name.
And by the way, everything is the mayor because I am responsible for all
That's
things.
correct.
That's why. And you know it's, and not to throw you back under the bus because you're not, that was the parks and now it's the street and I get to go to Little Rock, so.
Oh, I learned my lesson.
Right.
I understand the process now.
so bottom line is, it's really in terms of finances, it's immaterial.
Correct.
And, so we got the truck we wanted for the price we wanted, but there's a list of the people we should buy it from, and they were on the list that year. Is that correct?
You don't have to buy it from the state bid board. If you approve that and he wants that Silverado truck instead of a Ford,
Yeah.
then you can approve that, but you have to waive the bid if you deem it necessary or do the bid.
Yeah.
It's also by specific model too.
Correct.
They have to win the bid for that specific model.
Yeah.
And just for my sake, I don't sign checks.
There's one
Just so you know.
For the people who do sign the checks, can we not make sure that policies followed?
Well, there's no policy on that
That's
necessarily.
what we're
Well,
working
there
on.
is policy, there's policy from the state, that's
That's
why
what
you gotta
state
go
law
explain
is.
yourself to the state of Arkansas.
Yeah.
The state of Arkansas says you will buy them off of pre-qualified purchases, you know, that they've done by the state, if you have the budgetary. If not, you waive competitive bidding. Now, that's in state law, and that did not happen.
That's correct.
So we don't need any policy restating what the state law has already said.
I concur with that.
So the $61,000 pickup in street department, we had talked about that in budget and we appropriated that money. And that truck is here today and resides in the street department and is used in what capacity?
You're looking at me.
Director's truck, isn't
I
it?
couldn't tell you,
It's in the street department.
yeah. I couldn't tell you which.
Who's, Jeff?
It's utilized like any other
Yeah,
vehicle in the street department.
It's a street truck. I'm not sure which
Well,
one.
maybe you could load it up with the trash that we've dumped out there by our neighbors out there.
I've already emailed it to him and he wrote back received,
We're handling that.
all over it.
Just also remember, this happened over a year and a half ago. This was not a recent purchase. This did not recently happen. That's why I was trying to give you the timeline. This is something that happened over a year and a half ago. It happened in February of '24. We're now going into '26. So hopefully since then, and I'm pretty sure we do not have any more of these issues.
Oh, yeah.
So,
We also have 4 check signers. I mean, myself, Tom, Tim Posey, and Casey. So, I don't know, 2 of them have to sign your check.
Well, like, I would think the check signers ought to be partially responsible.
We look at them.
I think we all have,
But-
a little,
at the
Sole
time we signed the
responsibility
checks,
doesn't
the
rest on
asset
that.
was already
nobody's trying to point
purchased.
fingers at anybody in particular. We're all saying this happened and we're gonna fix it. Well, I'm the last one that wants to go to Little Rock. It's not a fun trip. I've been once before in my career. It's not,
I
it's
think
not
the key
pleasant.
is nothing of this was intentional. This is not something that we thumbed our nose at. This is something that was an issue that has been addressed. And we're just gonna have to go explain that to them. That's what, your 5 minutes of fame or something?
It'll be on the next
Or
agenda.
however long they can decide to keep me.
So it wasn't malicious, I'm not arguing with that. There may have been some slight incompetence, maybe some slight ineptness, and we got that handled.
I think that's why I agree with Steve to bring up, kind of discuss the policy at the next budget meeting, or at council meeting. Is that
I
right?
think the state's policy's fine.
I think just be, everybody just be refreshed on it.
Fresher.
Yeah.
It'll give us something to talk about too. January's always slow.
Oh, Tim.
That wasn't the controversial part. All right. Can we move on?
Yes, please.
One other question. So, I'm trying to figure out, I'm making sure I understand how this is working, the administration, because we're talking about the administration doing this, which is the mayor. So, you delegate responsibility to department heads, and we're saying these are the department heads doing this, is what you're saying. They're contracting on behalf of the administration, behalf of the city of Greenwood, when they go to purchase one of these things. And you are addressing this in meetings.
Yes,
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
We talked about state bid today in our department head meeting.
yeah, the said employee has been told many, many times that, yeah.
I take responsibility if that's what you want me to say, because it is my responsibility.
Yeah, I think you have to take
I
responsibility.
am,
That is
and I'm
your,
never not taking
that's your
responsibility.
branch of government.
Oh,
I
wow.
understand.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the deal is.
I think he's probably asking, is it getting written down in a personal file or something like that? I don't know.
Is that what you're asking?
Me? No, it's just, it's happened one year, it happened another year, I understand the several month deal, it just needs to quit happening.
That's the plan.
At some point.
That's the plan.
Okay, good.
And
We won't see this next year.
and I really want to say something else, but I think, I don't think it's.
You know, I would say that in the budget, when you pass it and you see a truck in there, that you should put the model number down and put beside it what the state bid amount is, and say, don't go over it.
If you go back and look at the discussions during the budget study session, one of you, I don't know who it was, but if you go back to the minutes, you'll find it, actually said 61,000, and you questioned that amount for that truck because it was a dual and it was multiple passenger, it was a big truck. And you asked, is this requiring a bid? And the response was, I'm getting it off the bid board.
Mhm.
So you were told it was a state bid, and we were led to believe that. But that's not where that truck came from, and they didn't even have a Silverado on it. I had lengthy discussions with the auditor on this, so.
So is that,
There are no minutes on that, by the way. I don't do minutes on study
Oh,
sessions, but I do have the recording.
Okay, recorded.
that just makes me mad.
It was a year and a half ago, it's more, it's.
Well, it's our duty to tell you what was
We all
on
make,
it.
we
I
all
just
make
need to tell
mistakes.
you, because you're gonna read that.
We all make mistakes. You pointed one out to me the other day, Mr. Powell, and you said something to me and I pointed something to you that was a mistake and you did it anyway. And that's all I'll say about it. You know what I'm talking about?
No, but I have made a lot of mistakes.
Well, I'm gonna leave it at that because this is kind of getting out of control. We caught it. I'm going to Little Rock. We're trying to correct it. And 2 trucks in 12 years, to be honest with you, is not too bad.
Into their budget items. I mean,
Right.
Of course, you know.
That's how we can fix that, when we just get a hold of it.
And like was pointed out, this is not about money. This is about not following a procedure. Money would not, more money if it was not spent on things that you did not budget. We didn't budget, you budgeted.
Budgeted it.
So it's a mistake and we're fixing it.
Okay. This is the revenue highlights from it. You can go through and actually look at each of, what I decided to do is not only give you the 24's numbers that are in your actual audit that you have, but I wanted to show you the trend from 21 to 24 for some of the revenue categories that they actually track in the audit. Now, this is an actual accrued-based of accounting, not our modified cash basis. So the state aid, which is return facts, the revenues for that went from 168 up to 296. That's between the 21 and 24 years, that's a 75% change. And the change between 24 and 23 was 68.02% in the state aid. Property taxes took a little bit of a decrease from 24 to 23. If you look at both the audited numbers from the revenues, down 1.13%, but overall from 21 to 24, up 9.45%. As far as franchise, yes.
Do you have,
I don't know why, if that's what you're gonna ask. Is that what you were gonna ask?
well, the 23 and 24, the decrease.
Mhm.
Is this on just city property taxes collected, or is this a county or state?
This is the revenue we received from the city of Greenwood, from all property taxes, based on these audited numbers that the auditors put together.
It's our portion
It's
from the
your
county.
portion from the county's tax. Delinquent real estate, delinquent personal, commercial, whatever, I don't know. But bottom line is, it's the revenue we receive from property taxes collectively.
Any decrease year over year over the last 10, 15 years, there's something super bad going on somewhere in that department. There's no possible way that property tax revenues decreased in any shape, form, or
The
fashion.
numbers don't lie.
Well, the numbers have lied somewhere, is what I'm saying. Somebody somewhere's, that's what the audit needs to be. I don't know who does that one.
Well, all I know is that I didn't put these together, I'm sharing them with you.
Well, I'm just,
So-
I'll get with you, 'cause I want to
This
know.
is the, well,
I want to know who's in charge of turning in those numbers. Because I guarantee everybody in this building can show you their property tax receipts Heck, I got Hal Stewart's right here, it went from $60
You're arguing
in
with the wrong
2015 to
person,
70 last year.
You shouldn't be arguing with me, I'm just giving.
I'm
you
not
the
arguing,
numbers.
I was curious
Okay.
if you had an idea why,
You
or,
have an opinion, and the auditors do too. These are the numbers that are in our audited financials. They said the property tax is $693, and I'm telling you, if you go back to the 23's report, it says $701. If you go back to the 22, I have them all right here, as a matter of fact.
look, I'm trying to stand up for the city and say we got shortchanged.
Well,
But it's not
I'm not
unprecedented either though, because from 21 to 22, it decreased, and then it jumped up to 23, and then it decreased again in 24, so it's happened a couple times.
With respect to property taxes, there are plenty of attorneys who are going back on large property holders and saying, you evaluated this property at X dollars and it's only worth this much. So there could have been some of that going on, but otherwise.
No, I'm not arguing, I'm just curious. I'd like to know who to talk to get those numbers.
I can ask,
Yeah.
but
They're gonna.
I can show you our numbers.
I'll
Yeah.
talk to Zach.
Mr.
You're gonna love
He
what's
like
coming up.
He was here.
Franchise fees, well, look at this, they dropped too, they're down 1.17%, okay? Sales tax though, sales tax is up 3.09%, including an amount, now this is all sales taxes, not just city, it's all sales taxes combined. Local permits and rental fees, now what's lumped into this would be the pavilion rentals too, they're in this number. So I pulled out planning, just so that you can see on a cash basis what planning's permits were of these numbers and local permits and rentals, even though they're up 9.31% between 24 and 23. Advertising and promotion, they're down 24.04% between 24 and 23. That's the audited numbers. Now 25, you just saw, it's also bad. So you're seeing a negative trend, and I've been pointing that out to the A&P as well as you every month when you see the historical. So these numbers mean something as far as each of those individual categories. That's why I'm highlighting them so that you can start thinking of what's behind that. As far as the total, I didn't have time today when I was putting these together to come up with all the answers, but I can tell you that your revenue from 2021 for these items only, 6.3 million to 7.5, the actual increase between the month, this to this, or each year to the previous year was 10.8, 3.81, and 3.6. From 24 to 21, we're up 19.22% in revenue for those items. I just wanted to highlight those for you. But now I want to go to the general fund. And I want to show that the general fund, this is for only the general fund, and there's restricted general funds, which are obviously by ordinance or by resolution or by state law, and there's also unrestricted, which can be used for anything, and is not, in essence, part of a law or part of an ordinance or part of a resolution. You're looking at 21 to 24 from 6.7 million to 8 million. That would be the general fund all in. Let's extrapolate unrestricted monies from that. So of the 6.7 million that's been in our general fund, we isolate out 2 million for unrestricted purposes in 21. I revised this only for the ARPA incident that happened, because in this number here in 23 and the number in 24, they received $972,000 of surplus money that went into the unrestricted, that was generated because we used ARPA money for paying the salaries of the police department. So that money fell into the 2023's unrestricted, and in 2024, you did a resolution to restrict that money to the water sewer department at the end of 24, because they were going to have to do some reload of the utilities for the road project. So that's coming out in 25, but theoretically, it should not be influencing these 2 months. So I revised this to exclude the 972,000, and that's showing you where we are right now as far as our unrestricted monies, because this is going to water sewer. As far as the current year, though, right now, through the month of November, end of November, which actually, as of today, 1,067,000 is where you are in unrestricted general funds. So you've gone from 2,000,008 to 1,067,000. But the budget for this year, the end of the year, was 997,000. That's from your approved budget. So you're still better than your budget, but you still have a month to go. And that's on the unrestricted general funds. This is the number that I'm worried about because that's our contingency threshold. And you're dropping below that. Keep that in mind when we start doing the budget reviews. As far as the notes to the financials, just go through and read those. They tell you a lot and explain about where a lot of these numbers come from. The cash deposits, financial institutions. The only reason I pulled this up is because it talks about our collateralization of the monies that are in the bank. We're required to have it fully collateralized. We do, however, we do always get this custodial credit risk. And that's the risk that some of the investments that the bank is taking the money and investing in is in a risk not secured form, and that if that's secondarily those investments that they're making go under, then there's a potential that our funds for those amounts of $1 million is $1.5 million, or $1 million is what they're saying of our $9 million or $10 million. A tenth of it is at risk. Now, that's not a finding as far as it's concerned. It's not a requirement that they be in something that doesn't possess or present a custodial secondary risk. It says down here, though, that we don't have a deposit policy for dealing with custodial credit risk. It's something we might want to consider. It's pointed out every year. The fact that this number is only about a tenth of what we have, that's what you're looking at potentially losing if everything goes bonkers. Still a risk. As far as the next one that you would be looking at would be how we invest our pension plans, and it shows on the different levels whether we're in U.S. government obligations, how much we're in bonds. Talks about non-marketable security, non-marketable amount of 77,000. That has to do with our loans that we now allow them to take at 50% of their vested amount. They can actually get a loan and they're paying themselves back the interest. The reason that we make sure it doesn't impact our corpus amount is because they're only allowed to take 50% of their vested amount, which is theirs. As far as stocks, mutual funds, and fixed, that's where we have the bulk of what we have in our corpus. There's $2 million in our corpus right now. As far as our debt limit, this is something else I point out. It does talk about there's no property tax secured bonded debt. So we've got all 28 million. Don't get any thoughts on yours. That's our bonded amount that you could, basically, that's your ceiling, your debt limit. On the short-term financing obligations, we are borrowing against that. We have $882,000 as of December of '24, leaving a debt margin of $6.3 million on a $7.2 million, and that is the short-term financing equal to 5% of the assessed value of taxable property. So that's only about 12%, just so you know. Yes.
That 882, that's splash pad and fire truck?
You asked that question, look right up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Long-term liabilities, direct borrowings, it's both the financing for the fire truck, you know, $197,713 on it. That's actually paid off August of next year. So your truck will be fully paid off at that point. And as far as the splash pad, don't get any ideas, Stuart. Too late, you already did. I have the number. The splash pad is paid off. Supposed to be, it goes through June of '29, but because there is additional paid-in capital of $20,000 a year given to us or granted to us by a grant from the A&P Commission, that amount of money is going to help pay off the back end. So this will pay off sometime in '28, not in '29. So you're saving about $100,000 worth of interest due to the A&P.
Could you go back a couple of slides to the, yes, is this the retired?
Yes.
You talked about borrowing from their own retirement, what if the employee gets let go or?
They have an option to pay off their balance directly so it doesn't impact it. In other words, put it back. So that that's whole, but that's their money. If they choose to default on that, they get a 1099-R and they get the early withdrawal penalty. Yes. So it's significant.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but that's how it breaks down. You'll notice up here at the top, that's the refunding of the, that's the road. Notice the water bond is not in there because it's the water. As far as the local lot fee is concerned, if we're talking about retirements, good note to look at. The city's contribution to the plan is $338,000. It's not a cheap endeavor there. The amount of insurance that's paid by the state to help defray the cost, last in 2024 was $142,001. That's, if they stop doing this insurance tax paid, if they stop that, and there's nothing that says they have to continue that, if they elect at the state level to not fund that, that drops right into our coffers. We would have to bear that cost. Now, as far as the other retirement plans we have, the clerk treasurer retirement benefits, Will McCabe and Linda, they didn't spell Brian right. These are the dollar amounts that are paid as far as their benefit. You can read about why that's having to be done. It's an elected official election that they allowed them to do. City attorney is the same way. That would be Mike Hamby. Former city attorney is collecting retirement. This is the dollar amount that was paid through 24. And then we have the non-uniform plan. That's the 7.5% for which I just mentioned. You'll see down at the bottom that there was $88,000 paid for city employees and $80,000 to the water sewer. So that's the amount of money that's contributed at 7.5% of their salaries at the beginning of each year for the previous year. And that would be it on that. Now, there's probably a lot more in there if you go through that you may have some questions. I'd be more than happy to get some more detail about that, but I think the first thing I'll do on the revenues for taxes is I will go and pull our receipts and everything that came in for each of those years, and you can see exactly what we took in. So if there's an issue, I don't analyze that issue here. The issue would come from the state.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the county collector.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I wasn't pointing fingers to the local boys. Yeah.
Okay. Should we go to the next item?
Yes, sir.
Might as well run right into it.
Yep. Sure.
This is the Water Commission has been made aware of all of this report, and we have gone over this with them. So the opinion is a good, clean opinion. In my opinion, the financials present fairly in all material respects. That's called an unmodified opinion. That's good. The restricted assets and the capital assets, I just basically wanted to share with you this depreciation down here. The accumulated depreciation I showed them was 39.5% of the total value of all the capital assets. The larger that number gets, the older your assets are, the more you really should be looking at funded depreciation in order to be able to afford replacing some of your older assets. Can you repeat that? 39.5%, the accumulated depreciation against your tangible assets, your capital assets. That's 39%. So the higher that number, the older your assets, because the more it's depreciated. Okay. As far as the liabilities is concerned, I think I'm looking at, okay, it had to do with the note I wanted to talk about is long-term liability. That's that water bond that you have, that the city has outstanding in the water department. As of 24, it was 1.2 million. We are making, right now, $95,000 principal payment to that fund every year. That's now going to go to, starting in 26, $100,000. It was 95 for 25. So that number will drop to $1,115,000 at the end of this year, and it will start next year going down even more. As far as the operating expenses are concerned, this would be how profitable the collective water sewer department was. And you'll notice down at the bottom, it's showing you your revenues are $4,700,000, operating expenses of $5,100,000. You realize that this does include depreciation. Depreciation is a non-cash expense. So if you were going to look at this as profitability on a cash basis, you want to remove that. And that's what we would do even for the bond covenant, which we do not have a problem with in 24. So what I've done is I've taken those numbers and I've listed them out for water and sewer. Well, I want to show you, I'll show it to you in a different manner. It's this column right here combined. So when you look at the amount that was listed in 24, I've taken depreciation out of these numbers, so you really were profitable collectively by $500,000 when you remove the non-cash expense. And compare that to 2023, and you can see why a rate increase was necessary combined. Water, sewer were both now dragging. Before, in the previous years, we were having water being profitable, and it was covering the losses of sewer. So in 24, the first phase of the water rate increase went into being, and that was the amount that was indicative of the rate for usage. And that was a staggered usage. It went up based on how much you actually consume in water. Sewer had to go up also based on that same usage practice for the water sale. Now, what I wanted to show you was at the end of this, there's a page in the actual audit it's called supplemental information. And I actually have the auditors now break water out from sewer so that we can see what expenses and revenues are attributable to water and how profitable they are, as well as sewer and combined. So that's what I've done here is I've shared that with you. And this is what they also in the Water Commission have seen in the 24 numbers to the 23 numbers. Revenue went up 28.51% for water and 106% for sewer. And that's primarily because of the situation sewer was in, as far as where they hadn't had a rate increase in 11 years. They were really losing money every single year for at least the last 7, leading up to this rate increase. And it could no longer be covered by the water department. Salaries and wages, though, I gave you percentages. They don't do this in the actual audit, but the percentages show that the salary increase between 24 and 23 for the water department for year 24 was only 4.85%. When you look at salaries and wages, it was 22.26% in the sewer department. So collectively, it was 10.54% increase for both. And that's the salary wages line. So if you look at these numbers and you actually put statistics to them, it tells a story. And you can see what increased. That obviously salary wages did not even include payroll taxes. But you can see basically what each of these material categories did between the 23 and 24 years. The audit shows you that. So water was profitable by $189,000 when you remove depreciation, $267,000 for sewer, and that's where you have the money. In 25, you're going to see that number go up significantly. It's actually tracking to about $1 million right now, and that's because the fixed rate went into play in 25, and that fixed rate has nothing to do with usage. It has to do with your bonds, your debt service on the bond. That financing will be necessary in the upcoming years, and betterments and improvements, as well as contingencies for reserves for disasters that would happen that they have, as well as for funded depreciation and CPI. So that's all built into the rate. It's not all for operating. This is interesting. If you look at the cash flow from operating activities, you see where the money flowed, the actual cash outlays were. The receipts from customers were $4.6 million, but suppliers got 2.8 of it. Payment to employees was 1.1, and payments for other administrative costs was $358,000. So it's interesting to see where your cash went. As far as the, oh, there it is, I just out of order. The water sewer audit, this is where I add back that's the operating loss, add back the depreciation, and there was your revenue, your actual income rather. And then the only thing that's not listed here as far as that phase 2 fixed rate is the, what I call funded depreciation, or you call it replacement reserve, either one. And then the basis of accounting, I had a little bit of a disagreement with the auditor on this, primarily because when they listed the basis of accounting, he's saying that we, the city of Greenwood, adopted the accrual basis of accounting, whereby we record revenues as recognized when they were earned and expenses as they are incurred, not when they're paid. And we are on a modified cash basis. We are not on an accrual basis. It's the auditor's responsibility to take our numbers and we provide him the information in order to make it an accrual-based presentation. He wrote that in there so he didn't have to write all the stuff that's in the leg audit report about how the state allows that to happen and it's acceptable to the state of Arkansas. The language is in the legislative one. So that's more of a convenience. Obviously the audit that you have in front of you is an accrual-based accounting. Depository accounts, they're fully collateralized with securities of the bank. Our auditor for water sewer does not talk about secondary credit risk. And the amounts that are over the FDIC coverage is $7.5 million this year, $6.5 in the previous years, and they're fully collateralized. Compensated absences, you always talk about, these are the benefits that would be paid if we shut down right now and had to pay out everybody what's legally owed to them. These would be comp times, vacation, sick time, anything that would be a benefit that they can keep. That would amount to, from the water sewer department, $109,000 and $89,000 from 24 to 2030. It's a current liability on the combined statements. This would be your debt. The interest rates go from 1.15 to 3.5% for the amount that was outstanding in the year 2024. That's that 95% current installments that we pay on the principal. And then down here is a schedule that shows how that graduates up. This 2030 to 2034, this becomes $118,000 a year for those years. And from 35 and 36, that's $120,000 for the 2 years leading up to the actual maturity of that. These are callable now, bonds, so if you wanted to pay it off, you could, but that would be a cash flow drain on you right now. And these are not tax-based, these are revenue bonds. These bonds are solely paid from the revenue that's generated from the water sales, water system sales, water sewer sales. So we take the WSR revenues and we pay that bond payment. This is a little bit more about the bond. Defined contribution plan, this would be the 7.5%. Talks about how much we contributed. You saw that number already in the leg audit report. Talks about a flexible benefit plan. That's basically something that we offered them for a cafeteria plan of benefits that they choose to use. Qualitative aspects of accounting. Talks about the difficulties encountered when performing the audit, none. Talks about uncorrected misstatements, none. Disagreements with management. I did have a discussion with him on one of the deficiencies that he wrote up that wasn't a significant deficiency, but I'll show it to you in a second. This restricted use says the information for this report and the one I'm going to show you next is solely for the mayor, city council, and management of the city of Greenwood, as well as the Water Sewer Commission. It is not intended to be and should not be used by anyone other than these specified parties. So generally, that's not something that would be in the full report that we give to like S&P. This is for management purposes only. It's something that you have to.
Restricted use, that means it's not FOIable?
It actually is. I mean, even you'll read that same language in the leg audit report too, and it does say, it goes on to say, he doesn't put it in there, but it says this is public information and it's fully FOIable. So they would have to ask for it, is basically what
Like y'all to treat it like it's a secret, but it's FOIable.
Well, when we submit our reports to like the the S&P or the people, the bond company, for instance, these reports are not something that we initially send to them. What you have bound, what you have on your tablets, that's the report that is supposed to be submitted. These are something that I gave you supplementary. That's how they're given. So he talks about material weaknesses, but I do want to talk about, he talks about segregation of duties. We have corrected this because I now have another staff member that allows me to segregate our duties a little more responsibly, and we're getting much more productivity out of what you're seeing and what comes out of our office. We're catching a lot more. We're doing a lot more timely reconciliations of what we call the virtual accounts, which was being done maybe quarterly. Now they're being done monthly. So we're on top of things more, and it's caused a lot of more efficiency in our department. But the two things that he wrote up was a transfer from city sales and use tax, The original writing that he had here led it to believe that we were overstating city sales and use tax checking account, because every month we do a transfer from city sales and use tax over to the O&Ms for water and sewer to cover capital, the expenses. It's done that way because they pay all their bills from their O&Ms. So we just move the money to compensate for that capital expenditure. Because at the end of a year, we were gone between Christmas and New Year's. The check that was done to transfer the money over from city sales and use tax wasn't made until January 3rd when everybody got back. And because that took place, we were overstating one, and we were understating 24's revenue in the O&M side. Well, I pointed out to him that that fund is under the full and complete control of the Water Commission and the Water Department, and it's all part of their money. So while one hand was over, the other hand was under, collectively it was all, it's not like that was a separate account somewhere. And so he changed the recommendation to say that it's an interfund transfer issue. He recommends that we try to get those done in the same month. We do, except for when there's an unforeseen anomaly. And then he says that, I keep hitting that space bar. I guess that was the computer's way of saying you're done. Okay. So what we were basically doing is we're going to provide him, just like we do the legislative audit, the list of these types of anomalies so he doesn't miss them. Now, how this was caught was he caught it in the reconciliation, the bank recs caught it, because it was an outstanding item. And that's when he called me and we discussed it. And I said, you want me to do an automatic reversing journal entry? And he said, no, I'll handle it. And then he writes it up. And I'm like, why? So that's what that means. That's what that is. It's not a big issue. This old outstanding checks, a lot of those are checks that were there from the refunds of their meter deposits. And some of them weren't even checks. We had to go back. They're old, and they were done from a previous administration, previous director. And so what we found out is a lot of them were reissued. They just weren't voided out of our system. So our system is showing it was outstanding and not. A lot of research had to go into that. So we're addressing that.
Also, if you have checks, please cash them.
Yeah,
They're issued by the city. Please cash them. Don't hold on to them. That will help that.
If you don't want the $25 checks that you're on a commission, then don't take them.
Thank you, Mr. Marsh. It was all we expected. All right. Yes, we need a motion to approve both of these audit reports, please.
Make a motion. Second.
Motion second.
Did Ralph make that?
Ralph, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Rainwater?
Yes.
Mr. Tedford? Mr. Trout?
Yes.
Thank you. Number 6 is city clerk treasurer millage rollback calculation.
All right, Tim, hold your tongue until the end.
Your turn.
So Zach Johnson was gonna be here tonight, Sebastian County Assessor. He felt ill, unfortunately. We miss him. He's a great guy, and he emailed the mayor, myself, Tom might have been in there. Anyway, so he recently completed a countywide reappraisal as part of the finalization of that project. They were required by state law to perform a millage rollback calculation, which those are required to ensure that no taxing entity's total taxable value will exceed 10% in growth due to the reappraisal. I don't pretend for y'all to understand all of this. It's even hard for me to grasp. I'm trying to explain it. He was supposed to be here to explain this. You know how you can get a hold of me to get a hold of him if you have more questions after this. So as part of the rollback calculations, that indicated a possible need for a rollback of the current millage rate, which ours is a max of 5 mills. So he sent some worksheets to us that were utilized to calculate this, and those calculations were to prove whether there was an indication or not that this overage was present. Using their value information and worksheets provided by the Arkansas Assessment Coordination Division, the rollback test indicated a millage reduction to 4.78 mils. So it's just under 5. So the deal is we're taxing at 5 mils. And the reappraised value is so great that it's over that 10% threshold. So this notification from Zach came to us to simply present the data in accordance with procedures and guidelines that they are held to under Arkansas law, and no rollback is currently required, only that there's an indication that it's possible to roll it back. That is up to the taxing entity, which is us. We are the taxing entity on that. He has notified all of the taxing entities that this exists across the board because of the high property values and the reappraisals, and it pretty much happened to everybody here. But we thought it best for y'all to know. The mayor wanted to make sure that the council knew about this. There's no requirement to do anything about it right now. You feel free to reach out to Zach, or maybe he can come to the next council meeting. He sends his regrets that he felt ill tonight. He's going to be here. But that right there is our notification to you that this exists, and it's just a little bit over. The deal is that a taxpayer could, come and say, there's this law that says you can't get over 10% profit or whatever on this tax. So we're not doing anybody wrong, but it may need addressed.
I think I don't understand. So he's wanting to take more and wanting us to take a little less so he doesn't get in trouble for taking so much more.
It's not he taking it.
Well, that's insane.
Yeah,
He
it's
needs to take less on his end and leave us alone.
well, that's what, we would have to reduce ours to 4.78. We can't tax at 5 in order to do
Do
what
we
you
know
just
how
said.
much money of the decrease that is?
Well, theoretically, if you look at it this way, the 10% growth is your cap. So if the growth is greater than 10%, you roll back the actual millage so that you maintain that 10% growth. That's all that this is doing. It's just keeping you at or below that law that says you can't collect more than 10% of a growth in the assessed value. So
Which is good to know that's in place.
if you don't do it, what Charlotte said is true, an argument could be made that you overtax them based on that law. That's why the
So
calculation.
what Rod says, right, he's charging us more, and he's making more, we're making less.
We are doing it, not he.
You would be making more.
We said collect 5, and that puts us over the 10% because of the
What
reappraised
puts us
value
over?
of all the land.
What puts us over the 10%?
5.
The fact that they reappraised,
There you go.
and
So
now,
he-
but, I mean, that's probably fair market, and I don't pretend to know what all's involved in that. Travis probably knows more than that.
So if you're reappraised, our millage is over what it should be,
Yes.
but our property taxes
Way over what it should be.
will,
That's a problem.
but they decrease into the city. Yeah.
So, do we have to take action on this tonight? Or
No.
can we table this until we?
Yes,
speak
you can
with
table it.
Johnson?
Are they asking us just to roll back the millage percentage, or are they talking about some type of okay.
No.
Maybe you already factored in this for the
That'd
audit.
be like getting toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah, no, that's the reason why they do the rollback, I think, so that you don't have to divvy it up or anything. That would be astronomically
Our
hard.
answer would be it just doesn't reassess and leaves us all alone. Right?
Well, that's for him to answer too, not me.
His answer is, I'm gonna take a lot more money and get the city to take less.
Yeah, I don't
So I
know.
don't look so bad.
I do not do his job. I would want to do his job.
I would wait till Mr. Johnson can be here.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Somebody needs to make a motion.
Yeah, second.
Motion, second, table.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Rainwater?
Yes.
Mr. Tedford? Mr. Powell?
Lots
Should
of
we table?
popcorn. I got lots of questions.
Table for 30 days.
I
There's
just
your
wish
food
this.
for thought. Yeah, it's hard to grasp.
Well, it's just the fact that these elderly folks over here bought a house in 1957 for $8,000. They still live in it. And then some locals bought the property next to it, put a $300,000 house right beside it. Now Grandma Johnson's property taxes are 5,000 times more than what they should be.
Yeah,
Because the house next to her, it's just unbelievable that the assessor has the audacity to raise her property value up because the next door neighbor's got a nice house. That just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. I mean, mine are the same way, but I look more towards the older, it always gets, well, we're trying to upgrade these old additions in Greenwood. Well, you're upgrading the elderly people right out of their pocketbook.
Well, the good news is in Arkansas, at 65, you can have it frozen.
Yeah. Well,
The bad news is, we're not all 65.
Getting here.
I'm there.
You're, Roger don't care.
No, I do care because that's right, what Tim's saying. Exactly.
It's sad. No,
It's
sad.
sad.
Okay, we will invite Mr. Johnson back when he's feeling well and let him explain. Moving on to number 7. Yep, meeting calendar. It's there.
Yeah, we do this every year, so unless you see something odd or out of place about these dates, which all I do is look at a calendar online for next year and figure out the holidays and how it all falls. So we've got 3 of those budget reviews in there. You know, this is subject to change if you needed to eventually, so if you want to just adopt it, then this is what we try to do about it this year. If a holiday fell on a Monday, I moved it to the following Monday. Is that okay with everybody, or would you rather have Tuesdays? Like the next day on Tuesday? Seems like that's hard for some of y'all.
I think the following Monday's probably better.
Okay, that's what I did.
So far it was good to me, so I'll make a motion to adopt this.
second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Meeker?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Rainwater?
Yes.
Mr. Tedford? Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Number 8 is I-49 updates. You have that. Joe, you want to speak on this? I was unable to attend this meeting. I know they showed this at the MPO, correct?
Yes, this was brought up at the MPO meeting. I serve on the technical committee and Mayor serves on the executive board. And we had our local highway commissioner there. The RDOT did a drone shot of the progress on I-49, and I thought you guys would be interested in it. Because it's all hidden, you can't see it from driving down the road. But the video here is very interesting. It starts off from Alma, going south to the river, and then it changes over from Barling around 8th Street, and it goes north to the river. So watch this, I think you'd be interested.
So where are we now?
This is coming from Alma, heading south to the river.
Through the spinach fields? There ain't no spinach. They ain't growing one blade of spinach over there in their house. But it's a spinach field.
As you can see, there's been a lot of clearing, beds being put down, You'll see some equipment working here in a minute, and this will take you right up to and show you the river here in a minute, where Tom likes to fish.
Lots of talking about fishing.
Real time.
Was it their business hours?
Yeah, they're not working, they're not even.
Actually, you will see somebody working
Yeah,
in here.
they're out there.
I thought the same thing. Where's everybody working?
Yeah, there was some movement.
There it is. It'll be later.
They already, you were doing that.
This is for the bridge, right? These are for the bridge?
It's where they're elevating the road.
These are for drainage, they'll go underneath the road bed in several places.
Well, they're real close to the river right
Yeah,
here.
you're getting close to the river. This is down around the Gun Club Road. There you're coming up on the river.
It's not following much.
How many miles did we just watch from Alma to the river?
Rod, I'm not sure.
2.5 probably.
I think 7 miles or something like that.
7 miles from Alma to the river.
Sonny, that's just a stretch from Gun Club Road to the river, isn't it?
I think it's a little bit further north of there. Now, this
North
is
of
starting
there.
from 8th Street. If you go down 8th Street in Barling, you'll run into this where you're starting. Up here, probably 1/4 mile is where they had the groundbreaking. You're moving north now.
The second groundbreaking, the first one right there at the end of the current. A few years back.
Sonny, what's the estimated completion date?
3 years.
I think 3 years.
Completion date to where?
To the river. The bridge is something else, you know, that's the big kicker. Like
It won't be far behind, there's no way, I mean, even the wisdom of the highway department is not going to do all this and let it sit there all the way across.
Exactly.
And the bridge is obviously in the plan.
We went to a meeting. It was
There's a
there.
guy walking down
We went to the meeting, Dardo.
there. And then there's a truck.
I'll
over
ferry
there.
them across first.
Yeah.
See that, the truck moving.
But after they showed this, I thought this would be a good thing to show you guys, but like I said, there's no way you can see it from any highway or anything else, you don't know where.
You know, they mentioned doing a toll and doing a 2-lane bridge on, initially making a toll bridge. I voted for it, a little supplement thing, I got an email for those.
So Danielle got a hold of the highway department and they sent us this video. But
Just this.
I just wanted this for your information because it's good to know that there is something going on over there.
No, I drive that stretch on 59 from 540 to 22 every morning, and I count between 20 and 25 dump trucks in that 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, if you calculate that 6 times in an hour, that's 150 dump trucks an hour, and if they're running for 8 hours, they're running 1,000 dump trucks a day.
That's some rebate money there, I was gonna say.
Buying it from us.
But that's all I had, I just wanted y'all to see that and they are doing this.
It's happening. But I guess in, like Manhattan or wherever, the bridge builders over here, are they the ones that now are gonna move over there to the Arkansas Bridge?
It seemed to me like they said that they were, but I'm not sure, AC. It seemed like they mentioned them in some capacity. But, like I said, our highway commissioner has been behind this strongly. And, we'll all get to drive across that bridge one of these days. But, the MPO works hand in hand with RDOT, and, this was a meeting that we had. We had, like I said, our highway commissioner there and all the local RDOT people there, and they showed this video, and I thought, this is something neat the council would like to see.
Cool. Thank you, Mr. Bell.
Yep.
Number 9, budget extension resolution, back to Tom.
This is so we can operate beyond 12/31.
I mean, and it's understood that this is just operations and not other new things that can be bought.
Make a motion, we pass the resolution.
Second.
Motion and second to pass the resolution.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Rainwater?
Yes.
Mr. Tedford?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Unanimous.
Just so the audience knows, there was not much discussion because we do that every year.
Right. Number 10 is planning permit fee schedule. Hunter, you handle this one? Mr. Michaels, sorry.
Mayor, Council, Mr. Terry, Mr. Farmer. I have in front of you today an ordinance repealing and replacing ordinance 21-06, which was our previous fee schedule. And I've consolidated a bunch of our existing planning and building zoning fees, updated them to match current standards pricing, and I compared all of our fees to other surrounding cities, Fort Smith, Alma, Van Buren, and then went as far as Jonesboro. They had a different take on fee schedules, which we've incorporated in this example, a few of those, such as moving to a square footage price for permit fees instead of basing it on evaluation. The pricing that you will see for those square footages came through an analysis of all of the residential building permits that have been issued since 2021. And then I averaged all of the fees out for building, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and then broke all of those down into what would have been a square footage price. I then decided to implement a 10% increase and then compared that increased price to all of the nearby cities and their average permit fees. It would put us slightly ahead, but as soon as they were to go review their fee schedules, they would implement, I'm assuming, a 10% increase across the board. All of the fees fitting kind of the codification committee's template moving forward will be in exhibits just to make everything a little bit cleaner, easier to read. All of our ordinances that we present from now on should be in this format with the minimum number of sections being 6. You will notice in section 5 that I'm requesting not an emergency clause, but a waiver of the second and third readings so that these fees will become effective January 1. I like to try to start everything fresh on a new year. And if you have any questions for any of the fees, I'd be happy to answer those.
Did you need to all point out that you would like it to be read tonight and waived to?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Now, residential fees, that's just on any multifamily, regular, single-family dwelling, or any difference in?
Not on the residential fees. That's just for construction purposes. It is broken out when you get to the third page, which are going to be all the planning, zoning, subdivision fees. A large portion, about the top half of those, are new. We do not charge any fees for review of multifamily plan sets, commercial plan sets, industrial plan sets. Someone could submit plans to us 10 times and we don't charge a fee for it. That is common practice among most cities. So that pricing was a mixture between what was most expensive and a good middle ground between them and the cheapest.
No, that provision where it says the mayor may waive the requirement of fees as stated in the current ordinance in effect,
Yes.
Is that like that currently? Or is that something that will be new?
No, so there is an ordinance that authorizes the mayor to waive fees in certain circumstances for the county.
Not
And
all
then-
though, not like all these.
Correct.
Okay,
Not
just
all of
making
those.
clear.
I just wanted it stated in our fee because it does deal with any storm damage related permit fees. That was the revision we made to the last repeal of
Storm
this.
damage county.
Do you think we should clarify that? The way it reads to me like it means this, all of these things.
So
So
it
we
would
may need to
apply
word
if
that.
you were waiving, for example, the fees for the Sebastian County Library.
Yeah.
There would be a large portion of these fees miscellaneous through here that would be waived.
But would that allow just anybody else though, just because the way because I know we've had issues before sometimes on semantics and the way some of this language is.
I tried to leave it vague so that it referred back to the controlling ordinance. I just wanted it stated in here so that it would refer back to that ordinance.
I thought you were repealing everything.
Not that specific, that's a whole different ordinance that controls the waiving of fees. That was a standalone.
What? In a sense,
It's
it's
a
stated
question.
in the current ordinance.
But it feels like it's this one, what says the current ordinance.
Yeah, we can restate that however you'd like. I was trying to get around putting specific ordinance numbers in there because then we would have to go back and change this if that ordinance were to be repealed.
In the
We could use the language.
relative, sort of that word in the relative
You
ordinance.
used some different language in an ordinance that we reviewed earlier today.
Yeah, something that points to those and not this one. It's just all that I think needs to be there. I love the table. It
I
is
think it should be,
so nice.
waiving the fees, the mayor waive, but per, council approval. Or is it just, the mayor can just waive them on his own?
Whatever he's allowed to do within that specific ordinance. We can remove it. I just wanted it in here for reference purposes, but it could be stricken.
It's good to clarify. I mean, I understand why it's in there.
The only thing I can waive fees on currently, and I know what you're saying, it looks like it's applying to this, is tornado comes through, somebody needs to do something. I mean, that, I can waive that, and I can waive county projects fees.
Yeah, and it's a good reminder down here in provisions. It just needs a little
If the
clarification.
county were to bring in a mobile food court for some unknown reason, you could technically waive the fees on that. I mean, I could apply county to almost anything that one of these fees addresses.
Hey, Hunter, on the sidewalk fees, payment in lieu of, I know we've had this discussion before, but is that something we want to continue to allow?
Payment in lieu of?
Yeah. I mean,
I've had a lot of pushback on the sidewalk fee in and of itself and the requirement to install it, but the payment in lieu of offers a unique ability in situations where having a sidewalk to nowhere in an area that's not desirable for us to ever have sidewalk in the future, it gives them the ability to submit a payment for that amount of sidewalk that we can place elsewhere.
Like there's some over there right now on Ware Road by those new triplexes that just goes into the ditch.
It
There's
does.
no way to,
Yeah, when they don't feel like paying the fee, they put the sidewalk in like they have to, and sometimes it leads to nowhere.
I think a master plan would help with that.
Yep.
She's got some good language, I think, just to, what'd you say?
As stated
As stated.
in the applicable ordinances,
For the mayors.
in those applicable ordinances. Just something like that, we'll work
Instead
on
of
it.
occurred, those.
I love that table. It's so nice to have that all arranged like that for everybody's ease of location and use and understanding. I mean, I know we used to have it in list format, but it didn't look like this, and it's just nice.
We've come a long way from $50 and $2 a lot.
Yeah, and those numbers have not changed in a very long time. You will notice on the industrial trade fees, they're set at penny a square foot, and that's typically because your industrial projects are going to have a large footprint with very little trade work. So all of the calculations that went into this panned out, penciled out. We did add fire safety permits, so for residential, commercial sprinkler systems, we have permits for those along with new fire inspections. So if the fire department has to go out and complete an inspection, they have a method of which to submit an invoice for payment on that, as well and a re-inspection fee, certificate of occupancy fees. We've never charged to issue one of those. Those can be onerous if you really go through everything like you're supposed to. And then some of it stays exactly the same. Demolition hasn't changed a whole lot. Swimming pools haven't changed.
Did you kind of model this to see what your revenues might have looked like for this year using that one?
I have not had a chance to get around to that. I am working on that. I want to see what the budget effect is for our department. I mean, it will be increased just based on the adding 10% to our permit fees. But to what extent, I have to predict how many planer use we're going to have. And I've got a 5-year history of our department's revenues that I'm basing a lot of our projections on, trying to be as accurate as I can.
Very good.
If you see any fees that are missing, let me know. We can get them added last minute.
Multi-family dwelling are too low, but that's all right.
Jonesboro had a significant price for multifamily structures.
So are we just repealing 21-06 and then leaving all those others?
So this is a unique ordinance in the fact that it is both repealing and amending, and I did make sure that that was allowable and discuss this with the city attorney. We are explicitly repealing the previous ordinance that was the schedule of fees 2106.
Okay.
And then we are amending
All those others?
specific sections out of all the other ordinances that have fee amounts listed in them.
Okay, so I will only put repeal on 2106 in our libraries.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. I don't put amended on the others, I just put repeal on.
Yeah.
So I'll leave those alone.
Any more questions?
Any discussion, gentlemen? Lady?
Just a little tiny, it says in section 6 that it refers to Department of Planning and Development to schedule 2025,
I
but,
did. I retitled it to 26.
okay, so that needs to be 26 in the ordinance?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Where's that?
Just
My
section 6
exhibit.
again, it's just, it needs to change the year there.
Oh,
My exhibit's labeled as our fee schedule for 2026 based on its implementation date, but I referenced it in the exhibit section as 2025.
I'm done tearing it apart, thank you.
That's fine. Find it all now so we don't have to change it next year.
Back to sidewalk fees,
Yes, sir.
you have nothing on, I don't understand the payment in lieu, you have nothing right there. How do you figure that payment in lieu?
So the payment in lieu of is actually covered in our sidewalk ordinance, which
Okay,
nothing is being changed in that ordinance.
so how do you figure the cost of that?
The cost of that is figured based on a quote that I received at the time of the request for installed concrete per linear foot.
Okay.
And then I did make a clarification in this exhibit, because this is an issue that I've ran into several times. It's supposed to be based on your lot frontage abutting the street. However, I have a lot of individuals say, well, I'm putting the driveway in 20 feet of it, are you going to charge me for that 20 feet? So it's the lot frontage dimension minus the width of the driveway.
Are you including grading?
That is installed, yeah, that's
Installed.
grading formed, yeah,
I'll say plus 25% on that.
plus 25%. That was straight out of the ordinance.
So they, the idea is they lose if they do paint blue.
That's right.
That's correct.
And then we probably lose because the concrete will go up more before we want to put a sidewalk there, and so we end up not covered with the, but anyway.
We always lose.
Just
Hard to keep up with the price.
right, no doubt. I'm sure Mr. Johnson's got something to do with that.
So you are looking for passage, and I heard you earlier, but. were you-
Yes,
remind me.
He wanted us to, no version clause, but waive second, third reading so it can get adopted on January 1.
Okay.
And I'll make a motion, we pass this ordinance by title only from first reading.
Second?
Motion second.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Meeker?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Rainwater?
Yes.
Mr. Terry,
Yes.
Tedford?
Yes.
Sorry. Mr. Powell?
I'm not sure who that.
It's unanimous. An ordinance repealing ordinance number 21-06 in its entirety, amending and superseding the fee provisions of ordinance numbers 00-31, 03-29, 19-01, 22-12, 22-34, 23-10, 23-18, and 23-21, and establishing a new unified fee schedule for the Department of Planning and Development and for other purposes.
I make a motion, we suspend the rules and waive second, third reading.
Second. Motion second, suspend rules and waive second, third.
Ralph second.
Does the title need City of Greenwood in there at all, Travis? I don't know if there's like a legal reason it has to be in a title. We always have them.
That's why I was wondering, we have it in section 5 of the document.
I know it's down in the
It needs
bottom.
to really be in section 5, or it just needs to,
We almost always have them
Just
in the
the
titles
procedure.
that talk about the city, the name, it just says the planning and development, but should we put the City of Greenwood?
Section 1.
Sure, why not? Is that sure, why not?
Sure.
Does anybody want it? Just do it here.
Do you think it was good?
I do.
And I will put it in.
Put it in there.
Okay, we'll just add it.
Better
All right.
say- better say.
Anyways, I will vote to waive. Mr. Brown?
yes.
Mr. Meeker?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Rainwater?
Yes.
Mr. Tedford? Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Unanimous?
Did you get what you wanted down there?
Yeah, well, we didn't ever specifically say it in the motion,
Okay.
but,
With the changes that you are requesting.
okay.
Right.
You amend your motion,
I'll
for
late
the first
amend
reading
my
of that?
motion to add the city of Greenwood somewhere in the title and change the 25 to 16.
And
And
there's that provision down there that we need to say
Provision down
this.
there.
Okay, there we go.
the provision down.
There we go, all right.
Not down under, but down there.
So we need one more
Motion
motion.
to adopt.
Yeah.
Second.
Have a motion second to adopt.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Meeker?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Rainwater?
Yes.
Mr. Tedford? Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Unanimous?
Thank you.
I will,
Mike.
Mr.
I just didn't hear.
Mr. Hunter is very easy to work with. He's really proactive and easy to work with.
Boy,
I appreciate it. I know, I'm just honestly
Boy of the year.
wanting to sing a praise.
Brad, you
One more?
You ever want to get it?
One wonder?
Boy Wonder. No, Captain
Diligent.
Diligent.
Captain Diligent, that's true.
We appreciate it. You did a great job.
No, the thing is, he's just really easy to work with. He's just not full of any kind of weird, just nice. Just good.
As opposed to Sunny.
Try not to.
That's exactly right.
Try not to get
100%.
Is he in, is he thrown in the category with Zach right now or something?
Oh, wow.
Before we dismiss,
We got a thing. Yes, sir.
notwithstanding the fact that I approve these minutes, I don't understand the first part of number 9.
You're going back to the beginning of the year.
Yeah. I just didn't understand the first paragraph.
Where?
9, finance discussion of cost of living. I just didn't understand the first,
Did it say there may not be a COLA raise in the budget?
well, it says Tom stated that national COLA came in at 2.8%, and the living cost of Arkansas is 11% lower than the national average, putting Arkansas COLA at 2.5. He said that Fort Smith COLA is 13%, therefore 2.4%, and Greenwood is 13%, 13.3% lower than the national average, which puts it at 2.43%. And I think Greenwood's in there twice at two different rates.
Well, I think he was very specific on the 2.43.
One of
Just
them's
I think it should have been 2.34.
rounding
One
on
of them's Fort Smith, one of them's Greenwood.
Okay,
I'm not
okay,
confused.
yeah, that's, okay, I got it.
Okay, you got it?
I thought we had Greenwood twice in there, but.
Okay,
never
great.
mind. I want to say praises to Tom, praises to Tom.
He did, I did.
He didn't even flinch.
I was reading it.
Department reports and questions from council. Got a few here, several here.
At some point, we do need to, when we
Dates?
set dates.
Okay.
In council form, probably.
Yeah, we'll do it. Chief, you got something? You're volunteering?
It's not my pickup truck.
Push the button.
That's good. Or you want to buy it without going through state bid?
He always does.
I know.
You won't need a bid on that one.
Spoke with Tom a little bit today, this evening about our, we got all the money or everything spent that we're going to spend on the 6x6, and there's right at about $8,000 left in that amount, and that's right at within $100 the cost of a inflatable rescue boat that I'm putting on the budget for next year. And I was talking with Tom about it on prices, and he said, why don't you just ask the council about spending that money on this year, so we'll have to put it in next year's budget. There is one at Granger that they ordered and put back for me, because I thought we were going to use Act 833 money for it, and until we found out you can't use that for a rescue boat, you use it for a lot of other stupid things, but you can't use it for a rescue boat. But it's basically, the quotation for that is $86.91.71 through Granger. That was the cheapest I could find. There was the others for two other vendors was right at $9,000. And this is the exact same boat we have, no motor or anything, it's just the actual inflatable. Right now ours is staying inflated after we completely fill it up, like maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
I have a feeling if we had to use it right now, and if that filled it up, I think we'd get people out, but it'd be back down. And so it's needing to be replaced. But anyway, that'd be something else I won't have in the budget for next year, which I don't have much in the budget for next year, but we do have funds right now in city sales and use tax that won't change how much you've already budgeted is paid for it.
Okay. I do have a question. What, have we made every attempt to get it, can it be fixed? Can it be patched?
Yeah, we actually got a hold of the manufacturer, sent them videos and everything, and Bob Dodd did it a couple times, and then we had one of our other guys that used to be Coast Guard. He was like, oh, I can fix all this, and we tried and tried. It won't. It's in the seal where you fill it up in two different places.
My next question, sorry to interrupt you, would be, have you considered an aluminum boat?
Well, we've talked about that. The aluminum boat will fill up with water and flip over when you have people in it, and this type of boat will not. Aluminum boat's good when you have maybe this much water. If the water is this high and you've got a several 100-pound person that you're rescuing.
I get that. The reason I ask that is I would assume by dragging that in and out of your trailer, I mean, I've never had an inflatable boat, but it's got to be the wear and tear on it's got to be.
We've got an inflatable boat trailer we purchased a couple of years ago. We got rid of that flat bottom and sold it to the wooden trailer.
So the one that you got on now is specific for that?
Specific for the boat.
Okay. I'm just saying,
I will tell
if
you,
you're
I will tell you at some point.
And I know aluminum would be more than that, I'm sure.
We're probably going to want to get aluminum flat bottom, and in addition to, but right now we don't even know where we would put it because we had that discussion. So Let's talk with the officers, so let's just replace this one.
You can put it under Brad's side. I'm sorry.
Upside down.
I'm sorry.
That was an aluminum flat bottom for what? I mean, not swift water rescue.
You know, he's talking about water rescue, like,
No.
say over at,
Just,
At the lake.
yeah.
well,
Or
the
flooding
only
over
reason
there.
we would need it is because there's several times that we'll get called out to Lake Jack Nolan for a person stranded, and that inflatable with
Like a
that,
couple of police officers.
well,
Not under
that,
Brad.
no, we've had some other things out there, and so if we had had a flat bottom, you would be able to pull the boat off the log or whatever so much easier. Where on an inflatable, you just don't have, it doesn't have the pull, it doesn't have the, I guess, the cut in the water or whatever it takes.
One's good for one thing, the other one's good for most of it.
Red Cross actually had us go down to Greenwood Lake one time, the only time we've been out and we're legally on that lake. And we were trying to move the solar bee or something down below, actually the intake parts. And it wouldn't do it even with that 35 or 45 horse motor or 40 horse that we got. And I guess it had to do with just not having the stern or the stuff to keep it. It was doing this right here. And I was like, okay, it's just not gonna work. You're gonna have to get somebody's bass boat down here or something.
So you're requesting used money you got left
Is
over?
that requesting to use money that we have in the total of $8,691.71 to replace our inflatable boat.
And your motor goes from that one to this one?
Yeah, it's just replacing the boat itself, it's the inflatable part. It's the exact same one.
That's city sales and use tax,
Yes.
restricted money only
Yes.
for your fire.
Yes.
So the money's in the budget.
The
just
money's
not-
already in the budget, it's money I've saved from other projects.
I mean, we don't have anything in front of us for this, do we?
Well, there's,
No,
we wouldn't need it, I don't think.
We just
Well,
want our blessings.
well, it's over
We're just- I'm asking for your
$5,000.
blessing.
So we would need a budget resolution, wouldn't we?
The only reason is because capital items you wanted to be a line item. And you said you cannot use it for something else unless we reapportion that. I think that was your recommendation and you approved that. That's the reason he's coming to you instead of just saying, hey, bottom line, it's in my budget, you've approved the budget, I just want to use it and I'm just informing you, which is kind of what he was thinking. You would just say, sure, go ahead. But if you want a formal resolution, we can do a formal resolution.
I just didn't know if we needed one for the.
Well, we would, because of the over 5,000 rule that we do.
Because of this being a line item, we would need it, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we can make one up and you can say pending that you see it, you know.
Yeah. Well,
I'd just like to get.
I'd like to approve the
price
purchase.
goes up on it.
Yeah, and it's also before the end of the year, so, because this is not this year's money.
Correct.
So go ahead and,
Approve it
then
pending.
it'll
We
be
need
just
a
a simple.
resolution that we can address, we have a budget meeting, I'm sure, coming up, we sneak something on that.
Can't vote.
You can't vote.
You can schedule a special meeting right before it,
Special call.
very first, special call.
I don't want to do it, I'll never call it a special meeting.
You don't want to break the rules.
And then, three of you can do it then?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you
think
can
we
do
need
it
to
right
call a
now and say
special
what the vote is and not to exceed this amount of money. I mean, we would just put it in that budget
Yeah,
resolution.
we just make the resolution based on what you tell us to put in.
Yeah. And you'll see it. It'll be that.
Anybody wants to do that? Just-
Yes, it's be fine with me.
And you can vote on it.
You can vote on it.
Yeah, I would vote.
You can vote on it and you'll see it. And-
You don't have, definitely don't want to have an extra meeting in December if you don't have to.
What was the number, 80 what?
It's 869171.
It's budget neutral, so you'll know that.
It's coming out of city sales and use tax fire.
Yes. It'll be out capital expenditures.
And it's not to exceed, whatever that number was.
I'll make a motion that we pass a resolution, or approve the spending pending a resolution that we can see.
Okay, here's a problem. We're not supposed to vote on things that are not on the agenda.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
You don't have to.
I make a motion we add to the agenda,
Item 12.
Okay, item 12.
and the only reason I want to go through this is because what normally happens is, we have people that see that we just go out and buy stuff, and they come to us later and say, hey, I need to move this money over here, and they bought it 2 months ago. So at least we're trying to be proactive and come to us before he spends the money, he has spent the money. Okay. Yeah.
You can
A lot of
actually
times
do
people
it
already spend
anytime.
money, and then they come to us when we change the budget, and it's like, you bought that 2 months ago. And then so
So Tim, did you make the motion to do this?
Yeah, I'm making it, whatever motion needs to be made, is-
All
I'll
right,
sign it.
all right.
By the vote.
Who else? Who else?
I'll second.
We have motion.
I mean, it's restricted money, again.
Yeah.
This isn't being special needs for the fire, they get everything they want, it's just tax dollars that they can only spend on money.
Right.
Is it red?
It is red.
Okay.
Oh.
I do the other one.
Cinco dogs on the front.
Yeah.
All right, we have motion.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Meeker?
Yes.
Mr. Terry?
Yes.
Mr. Rainwater?
Yes.
Mr. Tedford? Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Chief. All right, anything, council, department reports? Question for you, gentlemen, for these guys. Gals. What is it?
The department report.
Somebody?
Grants?
Oh, Grant. We should have done this earlier, and can't believe I didn't do it
Oh,
earlier.
goodness.
Casey, would you come to the front, please? Sure. I'm busting at the seams to tell you, but I'm gonna let him do it. Busting at something to tell you. I should have done this when we had a crowd.
The mayor and I went to Little Rock on October 30th to address the state office about the recreation for a grant for our newest park. And I got notice this morning that they awarded us $494,000.
Is that for the,
Inclusive
for the
park.
park? So is that it?
That's it.
We have everything?
We'll have a $1 million park
Excellent.
for $275,000.
This grant used to be a cap at 250 max.
Is this
so they
state
took
park?
the cap off of it.
Correct.
State park?
And this takes care of the loan to the farmer's bank, essentially, and you don't really need to,
Yeah, we've got that covered.
but I mean, you don't really need that loan, you know, do you? You can just take the $10,000 a year and,
More or less, I think that we can do some shuffling to make it a little more efficient, but we've got it sorted out.
Casey did an amazing job to this panel. They changed it a little bit. When I used to go, it was called 15 Minutes of Fame. You got to stand there in a very odd situation and talk to these people. Not odd, but it was kind of high pressure. And so this time they changed it. It went from, you thought it was 8 minutes, and they gave you 6. And then he was in the middle of a point he was making, and they gave him, he got to finish his sentence. He did a great job, and that's where he got it, so, great job. Great job. I know. All right, anybody, anything for any of these other council? If not, we'll go to council forums. I'm sorry, you want to jump this or?
Are we council one?
Yeah.
Okay. Playing on Casey's, so in city and town, the Arkansas Municipal League is having a grant writing and management certification workshop on March the 5th, 2026. I can't tell anybody to be there, but I wish the administration would probably have Casey go, commission. I think this would be great for the city. Fire department.
We went
Fire
last
chief.
year. Stuart, myself, and Jeff went last year to it.
Okay.
Is this
The
the one
same
that's
thing, I
using
believe.
AI? Is it using AI now?
It's
That
just,
one?
it's a grant writing workshop, and they explain all the grants that are out there.
Yeah.
We use
Yeah,
that
that's the same one we
too.
went to last year.
Casey might go down there and teach this.
There you go.
Well, I just wish we'd have good representation down there.
Yeah.
I would think that Water Commission should be sending somebody down.
So, I agree. I preach this sermon quite often. Grants, grants, grants. They get tired of hearing it. And I preach that sermon.
I would just like
I
to see good
can't
representation.
force commission though, just so you know. But I would encourage anybody.
And I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of times we don't meet their requirements because of our,
Yeah, there's,
you know, level of.
many grants that we don't.
And that's sad.
It never hurts to go and get the training and education and get that certification, because they're offering you certification this year. On that, you know, I read it through the Arkansas Municipal League, city and town, and I didn't realize our commissions do not get that city and town.
Commissioners.
Commissioners do not get that city and town. Do you get it, Travis?
Yeah.
I think so.
I would like, whatever we have to do to get that sent to those commissioners, I'd like to do that.
You can hold the president. You can hold the president of
So, I'll ask about that. I'm going to Little Rock Wednesday for the executive committee meeting. I'll ask.
When you ask, Steve's not getting it.
You're not getting it? No. Well, you gotta be here.
And the sticker says honorable Tim Terry.
So the Water Commission and Parks Commission, I wish those commissioners could get that, whatever we have to do.
I don't think that'd be a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get them on the mailing list.
Okay.
I'll do my best. Anything else with council forum?
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I think I have something.
Yep.
Since she's waited the whole time, Stacy Smith,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there thinking, there's probably not been a family that's done more logged service hours in Greenwood, Arkansas than that family. So Stacy, we give her an award here several years ago because she worked how many years over here at the, you give it to her, at the recycling center every Saturday. Every Saturday she'd sit over and read a book and unload stuff. And then Tim was always active in our scout troop. He was always the treasurer. But they had 3 boys that went through. Shane Smith built trail, a lot of trail, and put in benches along the lake. He did a great job, logged a lot of hours. He did a really good job with the trail he built. It's still there. And then Wesley built the hammock park up in Bell Park. And then Trey did the biggest bridge that'll ever be built by hand out at Greenwood Lake. With those I-beams that he carried down through there were 700 pounds apiece, all the way from the road. It inspired Mr. Ham so much, the mechanical engineer lived up on the road, that he'd come down there just in awe all the time. Visited with Trey, was talking to him about going into engineering, and he did. He went into medical engineering. He started out mechanical, went on to medical engineering, and has graduated. He works for Sandy and Brad Johnson now, stitching up idiots like me. So, but that family has to have more hours logged than any other family in Greenwood.
Thank you for all that.
The only thing that you didn't do at the recycling center was make those little videos like Jim Reynolds did.
We need to talk about that. We would go out there, and I think, yes, we had a good time with him.
Good.
In his stint,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. He did good over there too.
Yeah.
We appreciate your service. Good family. Yes, sir.
One other thing, Tom, I'm sorry for coming off kind of curt to you. If there's any one person that does their job in Greenwood, it's you. You're very diligent at your job. You have the answers, so I'm firing the questions, and I'm going into this still mad over trash. So trash gets me pretty stirred up. Charlotte knows.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the culverts? No, I mean, he's talking about the trash now.
I think it's greater than what's implied.
By the way, I always
No,
blame
I haven't
trash
been out there, so I'm
for
waiting
people
for
grab
trash
out the
judgment
water
until I
bills,
see it.
but they trash people. The sewer water,
I'm going there first thing in the morning.
Thank you. Make us look good.
Gonna be back by 10, didn't that one?
Yeah.
No, 9.
9. By the way, to council, if you are in town in the morning, 9,
Yes.
Lee Johnson will be here in the morning to answer questions that department heads and Bob, whoever, I mean, you're all invited. We can bombard him kind of sort of, but he's going to come to just answer questions that we've all kind of been making a list. So if you got any questions about anything, one of the main things I invited for was the 911 consolidation. When they have an unfunded mandate, it's kind of hard to do something when there's no money. And a brief update on that, I don't know if you've been keeping up with that at all. I'm on the board, which is scary for me. I'm not sure I like to be on the board, but I am. Everything that had been voted on to put in place moving forward with that has now been voted to stop. So the building, what's the company? Yes, sir. Everything stopped because it got a little out of hand really quick. Motorola, all that has been stopped. We're starting over. There was plans, if you heard, there was plans, they bought the whole hog building and to add to it, and it became a $5 million building. Then there was $5 million on the Motorola side. All of that stopped. Everything. So.
Well, that's good. This won't cost that much.
We're not being fined anymore.
They're going to seek, hopefully I'm speaking correctly, Jeff's not here. Yep.
I was at the meeting also. They're kind of punting for a couple of years. They asked to get 2.5 years of basically putting dispatch over at Fort Smith Police Department and combining it there. Now EMS dispatches the paramedics, and we talked to on the radio, will still stay where they're at because they're worried about losing their professionalism that they have with the medical side of it. But the actual page will go out from the unified dispatch. Now, right now, their plan is for that to start happening this summer. And then the main thing is right now they're going back to the River Valley Communications System center is going back to the drawing board to figure out what's the plan now of where we're going to put a unified dispatch in the future. But for now, that's kind of their secondary plan. They're going to just go to Fort Smith PD and they'll be dispatching from there this summer. So they'll meet basically the whole thing of having a unified dispatch, even though all the dispatch come from there. If you can get on the radio and want to talk to someone on the medical side, we still have to go to Fort Smith EMS. And as I said, they'll be working on what they're going to do, a consolidation, a location, and putting it all together. And he said, give me 2.5 years to put all this back together. And that's kind of what
that's the request.
And cancel everything else. Their borough roads are no-go. Like I said, sub-buildings are no-go. So, anyway.
Going back to the drawing board.
And the computer system, that they're telling everybody, the CAD system, I think Fort Smith Fire Department has decided not to use it. It's not meeting their needs. They're going to go to something else. So that definitely tells me that it's not something I want to look at. I mean, what we have right now is working fine. And so we'll see what they come up with in the future that'll work better for us.
So, Stacy, if you make it to Little Rock,
I was gonna say, I have a list.
we're upset that you take our sales tax money away from us and give it to people that buy you billboards and contractors. And we're mad that we have complicated problems and y'all are threatening to fine us. So.
Do the affected communities know yet that there's a pause? Okay, good.
Yeah, believe me, they know because it became apparent, it became shockingly apparent one evening that I don't want to, there's a lot of good people working on this, but it became apparent that Fort Smith city directors did not know how far this had gone. As in the sense of, I believe even they didn't know they had bought property on Burl Road or some of these things, so it stopped and
got reined in.
We got reined in, and so what was presented to these smaller towns. I'm on the board to represent smaller communities, smaller than us, right? Our part in this was going to run $180,000 a year for 3 years, and then back to whatever it was, 60,000. I don't remember what it was. That's way too much money for us, but yet we probably could have managed it. I'll use Huntington as an example. They went from, this number is not true, but they went from $1,000 to 6,500. They can't physically do that. They literally have no money to do that.
That might be their entire budget.
Absolutely. And it was Huntington, Hartford, Mansfield, all those. We meet together with Judge Holt's packet. We meet with Judge Holt's and Mark Allen once a month or once every 2 months or so. And so those meetings are them going, what? This can't, we can't do that. And one of the questions presented to the board from somebody, I can't remember who asked, what are you going to do if we can't pay for it? And it was almost alluded to that you don't have the service, and then somebody else spoke over that and said, oh, no, you can't deny them 911 service.
That's what they told us, when we weren't gonna pay before.
Yeah, I know. So it's stopped, it has been halted, and I slept better that night than I've slept in a long time, knowing that happened real quick. I don't sleep anyway, but that was better. So that's where that is.
That was your melatonin?
That was my melatonin, yeah, well, that didn't work.
Well, we do agree with the premise that collectively, we're all gonna work better together.
Sure.
Instead of having all these little paradigms.
Yeah, nobody in any of those little communities disagree. They agree that it needs to happen. Gotta
It
happen.
needs to happen.
Plus it's the law. It's a mandate, so. Anyway, there's that. Any other thing for council?
Did you say Dr. Lee's gonna be here tomorrow at 9 a.m.?
In the morning at 9 a.m. I'll get him. I do want to say before we adjourn, do y'all have anything else?
We got the dates we need to get.
Oh, I'm sorry, the date. Give us some dates.
How about next week, either Wednesday or Thursday? Is that good for you, Tom, or anybody else?
Can't be Wednesday, I've got a choir concert.
I'm going to.
What about Thursday?
Wednesday.
Next Thursday, the 11th?
Well, I think we're going to Little Rock.
Okay.
Well,
So it'll have to be
It's
this,
the 11th, isn't it?
well, what about Tuesday the 9th? Is that,
Fine.
Oh, is 11th or
Thursday is when I think you're going to audit meeting.
legislative audit meetings?
The 11th.
Thursday.
Thursday.
did you want to do the commissions first, since they've already,
Yes, Parks and Water Sewer are both done.
do you want a third one in there, or just Parks and Sewer?
Well, Water Sewer's technically 6 budgets, and Parks is technically 3 primary and 3 secondary, so we're looking at 12 budgets, just from those. So,
Well, but departments, I mean, there's.
well, yeah, but you gotta look at how much data are you gonna be looking
Yeah.
at? Otherwise, you'll be here 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we have it.
I'm not gonna force that, if you can.
Okay, so what date are we looking at?
Is the 9th look good for anybody?
Not, does not look good for me.
Not, okay. Well, it has to be the following weekend, huh?
16.
We already have a meeting on the 15th and 16th.
What's the meeting on the 15th?
Planning Commission.
Oh, I don't have that. Because I haven't voted yet.
Yeah. So either the Wednesday, the 17th, or no?
So the 16th, 17th, 18th, I'm clear.
Yeah, 16, 17, 18.
17th, then maybe, can you do it on that Wednesday?
So how many, I mean,
We can move our planning commission meeting to our room to clear this up,
Planning Commission.
if that opens up a day.
So the 15th,
I'm good with the 15th.
Monday the 15th.
so that's when we're gonna do that first one? Water, sewer, parks?
So we all have to be here in case they ask questions.
Well,
What do you do? We'll do those on Thursday, same week.
Tuesday and Thursday?
6 o'clock.
Tuesday?
So how many, what did we just put out, Tuesday?
No, Monday.
Monday.
Monday, the 15th, we have water, sewer, and park.
What time?
6. 18.
And then, I mean, if you want to,
Sure.
the 18th, I mean, we could. We have that Christmas party that day.
17th?
There's a Christmas party 18.
Employee luncheon.
So there'll be leftover goodies. Yeah, let's have one on the 18th. 18th. I work for a living. I don't get to come to all these functions.
Did y'all want that, to do that the same week then? No,
Seventeenth?
18th.
Seventeenth or?
We was talking about the 18th.
but he doesn't like Wednesdays.
Friday evening.
No.
Sunday afternoon.
Can we do the 18th?
18th?
No.
Yeah, 15th to the 18th.
All right.
Sunday afternoon.
Come out of church.
Thank you. Okay, can do the 18th if you can.
18th, okay.
All right, so what departments would you like then? Police, fire, street?
I don't have, you gonna give me your fire budget?
We're doing,
You got my budget.
Do it? You said you were making changes.
Well, one small change, it's not major, you don't have.
we, the three of
Have we
us,
met yet?
we're fixing to.
Okay.
I mean, that's two weeks away.
So cops,
We're gonna
fire,
do-
too?
We will meet prior to that.
So,
Police and fire would be.
police and,
Not
Not street.
always lump them together, so.
When is that?
But you can do
15th or 18th.
planning's.
Yeah.
you want police, fire, and planning, or police, fire,
Yes.
street?
What day?
Well, if you do police, you're gonna add animal control.
I can't make the 18th.
18th, Stuart.
I can't make the 18th.
Why not?
Because
Not all about
It's a
you.
wonderful life with my son, April, and I bought tickets for a long time ago.
All right, so cops, planning to,
Street.
rapid fire,
Animal control.
animal control.
Police,
Police.
police, animal control and planning. Okay.
It's, so animal control probably got their own.
I don't know.
They always
We
do.
let the people know.
You get the 22nd, 23rd.
How about the 22nd?
Yeah, how about the 22nd?
There is a water commission meeting that night. I mean, no, there's not.
No,
We don't
no
have
water
one.
for
I don't
December.
have,
You know,
have it in my phone, but
So
no.
we can do the 22nd. for the-
18, we're doing it on the 18th?
18th?
Yeah, they don't have one in December. So you wanna do the 22nd?
22nd, I'm good.
Is that for general stuff?
It'll be fire.
I don't have
You'll
I
have it
mean,
by
will you
then.
by then? Is it-
You will.
Yeah.
you
Look
will,
at me.
you will, she will, he will.
Everybody will.
Just
I
take
don't
out
have
all
enough lead
trucks,
time to get it all
police.
in.
So you want street and,
Yes, sir.
Save us a lot of time.
Street, I've got some questions and work on. So street and fire would be the next two, so.
so let's do street and fire that, the 22nd then.
Street and fire?
Yep.
Okay.
What time?
6.
3 days before Christmas?
And general will be
Your
January the
gift
3rd.
to us.
You wanna do general after Christmas?
Yeah, after Christmas.
You want the 23rd? 22nd.
December 31st.
I'm actually good at that.
Trust me.
Do you wanna try to do,
How about the
Sure, I'll
Thursday?
get a little.
That's on a Tuesday.
do you still wanna try everything in December? You wanna try to get this thing adopted before the first of next year? Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm going.
Wouldn't that be great?
No, wait.
You want
Mayor
a side
can't do
bet?
it.
What's the next first of the year?
It's gonna be the first year.
But I want it to be.
Do you wanna just wait,
January the 6th for general.
you wanna just set the next meeting at the 22nd?
You saying the
Yeah, we
6th?
said the second, but January,
I mean, on that 22nd?
oh, set the
Do
next.
y'all wanna set the next meeting? So that way you'll see how far along you are with
I
general.
say January 6th, there's only, it's gonna be between Christmas and the 1st.
Right.
That's the day after a council meeting? is it?
Yeah.
We have a council meeting on the 5th, on the 6th.
Do you want to try to go ahead and schedule that then? January the 6th
That work for you, Tom?
for general and all?
I don't have anything scheduled on
It's probably not going to be, but it's all right.
'Cause I mean,
What's it?
if you go ahead and do the 22nd, then you can kind of see where you're at. And, I mean, it's possible that you could even
Just
do the
pencil
city
in the
council meeting.
6th. That way, you just reserve the 6th, just in case.
Who said the 6th, in case?
We got the 15th, 18th, 22nd, and January 6th.
Yep.
What's on the 15th?
that. Water, sewer, and parks.
Can you put that on that night?
No. Unless you want to be here till 2 in the morning, and we'll put you last.
Water, sewer, parks, those are all done, right? Those are
Yeah.
commissions, as far as they've already been through the commission
Those are typically
process.
set.
So could those not go later this week? Just to get them done, and that would open up another free day we've already determined is available?
No,
Yes.
it's that day.
I mean, if we can get general done by January
Maybe
6th,
just
that's great.
Nothing's happening this week.
Everybody all right? Good. We need medical help.
Water, sewer, parks is 15th, the 18th is police, planning, animal control, 22nd, street and fire.
Yep.
Right.
And then we'll
6, who
discuss
knows? We don't know.
What time is
at the 26th.
6.
Y'all, we had a light, and agenda on the city council meeting, we can do it that night. That's on the 5th.
All right, let's do it. Stuart, shut up. Sorry. Stuart, that's enough.
There's
Sorry, it's your cousin.
everybody.
Sorry.
You're gonna get cold.
Okay, so,
All right,
Good luck.
good
We
on
don't
the
have
dates.
one.
yes.
We'll see how that goes.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
No. I want to throw in another prayer request for Danielle's mother-in-law, who is not doing well, is in Little Rock. So she's been battling cancer for 30 years,
No, 18.
18
This
years,
round.
and now not doing well, so remember her. What's her first name?
Carolyn.
Carolyn Smith. And a reminder quick, the parade coming up, follow that with the parade, sorry. Don't forget, Bean Feeds at 5:30. Something else, a lineup at 5:30 if you're in the parade, parade itself. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Stuart. Stuart.
You've done good.
He did last
That's really not fair to put you on the front row.
I went to your office.
You're looking work.
Really good friend of mine.
I know
I'll go Christmas Eve.
Well, I'm absolutely no. I don't even say.
I don't do it.
That's also
This is like a couple
Great.
Absolutely.